Hello and welcome to the season 7 premiere of the world's preeminent, sexiest, most knowledgeable, just the best live streaming movie discussion show on in this planet or any others. The Sausage Factory. Yes, we're back for season 7. I'm your moderator, Pizzal. Joining me tonight, I've got the Professor B Movie Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, guys? Got some new faces on the panel. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. It's October. It's time to rock. My favorite time of the year. Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Now, how's everything going down there in Florida? I know there's some pretty bad stuff going on down there. Are you being affected by any of it?
We got like one little rainstorm, but nothing major. I'm in the middle of the state, and all that bad stuff happened up in the Panhandle, so they got destroyed up there. But we're cool. I know what it feels like, though, so I feel bad for them. You know, it's not a fun thing to do, but when you live in an area where these storms are prevalent, it's just part of it. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw some footage, and it was, it looked pretty rough. So
I lived in that area for almost 2 years. So when I was watching the news footage, I knew where all the areas were, and it's like, man, it's going to be rough for them to rebuild. They depend on the tourist dollar. There's like hardly any industry in that area, and there's maybe 5,000-6,000 people that live there year round, and then it balloons to 500,000 during the season. But if there's nothing to do and everything's destroyed, I can only imagine what that's going to do to their economy going forward for the next couple of years. And yeah, that's a pretty difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah, well, we're definitely all the best to everybody down there who's affected by the hurricane. That's it's rough.
I haven't heard the death toll. Hopefully it's very low. Hopefully none at all.
Yeah.
Because they did they tried to evacuate 75% of Bay County, which is a task. A lot of people live back in you start getting out in the middle of nowhere there. It's hard to get a hold of people, but hopefully everybody was able to at least get to minimum safe distance. And now they got to go in and dig everything out and rebuild. And that could take forever.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, also joining me tonight he just jumped on, Jay the Stingray. What's going on, Stingray?
Yes.
What it do, players?
What it do is what it does. And what it does is, I don't know.
What it do?
What it do is what it does. And what it does is, that's something for you to find out on your own.
What it do, what it be, what it is.
Mm-hmm. It takes a vision quest to find those things out.
You guys enjoying some fall weather yet?
I am, yes. It's very fallish here in Kentucky. It was actually kind of chilly today. If it was chilly, it was kind of a little drizzly. It was gray. It was very fall. I walked out and it was like I walked into fall. It felt
What's
good.
Chilly to you?
Supposedly, even down here this weekend, we're supposed to get down in the 50s this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's like winter in Florida, right?
That is. It is. Let's see. Well, I don't even know what the temperature was, but I mean, it was just chilly. It was windy. It was a little rainy. It just felt like fall. Felt good. But what have you been into, Stingray?
Not a whole lot, man. Just trying to watch as many horror movies as possible.
Okay. Any recent horror movie watch stick out to you?
Not particularly. I've seen a lot of newer stuff. I watched the Blair Witch remake the other night.
Oh God.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Thanks to Orc's recommendation.
I liked it.
That's
I'm
the
sorry.
fucking classic, all right?
You're talking to the
Mike,
guy.
you shut up, all right? I'm glad you started the trenches. I'm thankful. You are what America stands for, okay? But Blair Witch Remake is the greatest movie of all time.
I wouldn't say that, but I don't know.
How much?
Fine to me.
How much did Bloody Disgusting pay you to say that?
None, because they're fucking bankrupt. Lol.
That's
all
some of the
trivia
trivia.
drop. All those horror sites are fucking dog shit. They're so bad. I just go to Metacritic and like sites that don't suck ass and have honest reviews where you can't buy them. Yeah.
apparently when they announced it, I guess Comic-Con or wherever the hell it was, that it was the Blair Witch movie, a remake, it got a bunch of like really positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the only film to ever go from a certified fresh rating to a rotten rating. It went from 100% to like 35%.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, but I wasn't a fan. But Stingray, keep in mind, you took that recommendation from the man who has seen Grave Encounters dozens of times. Actually, Grave Encounters I think is better than Blair Witch.
Oh, come on.
Much better.
I might have to agree with that.
I saw the Zach Baggins movie, Demon House. Have you guys heard of that?
Oh, yes.
I forgot I saw that the other night, and that's just as bad as an episode of that Ghost Hunter show he does.
Oh, God.
Man, I was so excited for it to be legitimate, but oh man, it's bullshit.
There's a new flick in theaters called Hellfest, I think it is. I wanted to check that out, but I don't know. Modern horror is usually so disappointing. That
I've heard good things about it. Lauren, you actually saw it, right?
Yeah. It's excellent. It's not getting any attention whatsoever. It is exactly an old school slasher flick, right down to a sensibility that you're going to get those murder scenes that go above and beyond. It really, if you like things like Funhouse and Hell Night, you're gonna love it.
Oh,
and
man.
that's the reason. That's the reason it's, no one saw a trailer for it. It just was a poster that appeared in the lobby. They didn't know really how to sell something that's this retro.
Mm. Well, and Lauren actually did a review of Hellfest for my website. So if you guys want to check out his full review, it's over on my website, pizzow.com. But that's actually, I've heard a couple of different people other than Lauren say that, like, it's actually a really good old school kind of slasher movie. So.
Well, I don't think it got a big distribution or release. I mean, because I'm in the sticks in Maine, and it's not at any theaters near me at all. So I want to see it, but I saw Venom, and I'm just like, all right, I'll just wait till Halloween and Suspiria remake come out, and then I'll go back. But
yeah, I
want
to see
it.
Venom too.
What was your thoughts on Venom?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Oh, sorry.
What do you think, Ort?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought it was I thought it was as good of a comic book movie that Fox couldn't fuck up for a PG-13 rating. I thought that's how good it was. And then at the end, I mean, there's a character I'm sure everyone knows by now, but it's played by Woody Harrelson, and it's
Larry Flint.
Yep, Larry Flint.
Whoa.
Yep.
Insane.
Who is it? What character are you talking about?
No, it's a spoiler.
Carnage.
It's a spoiler?
Oh, God.
He just spoiled it.
You can find it.
Why is that a spoiler?
It's like the post-credit scene or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Carnage is always affiliated with Venom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't surprise me. Like, when the video popped up on YouTube, I was like, oh, okay, I figured they were probably going to do that.
What will surprise me is if they actually do him right. Because I don't know if Carnage can be PG-13.
Based on what I've read about Venom itself, and again, Orc sounds like he liked it, but I haven't been getting... I heard a lot of good stuff initially, and then all of a sudden I've been hearing like a lot of dog shit.
Here's what if you're a fan of Venom, like I love The Punisher, Venom, and Carnage.
No.
Those are my top three. I wasn't into all this Joker shit. Like The Patriot's way better than The Dark Knight. I'm sorry, because the movie is way overrated, even though it's good. But like people jizz all over about the Joker, like, oh my god, it's so fucking amazing. Oh my god,
Dark Knight's not overrated.
Psycho who has my illness. They all idolize the Joker character. I'm like, bro, he's not even that great. Venom and Carnage, that's where it's fucking. Anyways, Venom is basically Deadpool and Deadpool 2 and Logan, watered down like a shitty fucking beer that you drank in high school, and to a PG-13 rating, but everything you'd hope it could be while they push the boundaries of getting an R that they didn't get because they want to more money.
I feel like the first part of your description seems to fly in the face of the second part of your description that it's good.
Well, hey, it's an orgasm, okay?
I would definitely say it's a hard PG-13. I mean, it definitely it pushes the boundaries of PG-13 in a good way. I felt like maybe it could have benefited from R, maybe go the full Deadpool treatment, but I felt like Venom was well represented. I liked the voice. I liked the attitude. The dialogue between him and Eddie was good. Tom Hardy, finally, I hated him as Mad Max. I hated him as Bane, but I don't hate him as Eddie Brock. I was like, hey, a role I can actually say I like Tom Hardy in. That's cool.
Of course.
Yeah, they tried to sabotage that. The trailers present that character in a way that's not how it's in the movie at all. I mean, I thought I was in for one of the most annoying character portrayals ever, and that's not what's in the film at all. They took all these sound clips that could have been a disastrously pantomime performance, and that's not what the movie is. It's way better than it deserves to be.
Yeah. And it actually took time to build the characters. I mean, like for the first, they just didn't shove it at you right away. It's not like, they take a while to build the relationships between the characters and to give the characters some kind of a backstory, which, modern audiences may not appreciate because it doesn't like get right to the good stuff, but it does good enough for me. I mean, and I appreciate it. Michelle Williams as the girlfriend, though, I felt maybe a different actress might have been better in the role. I'm not like anti her or anything. I just didn't. I don't know. There was nothing about her portrayal of that character that made me go, "Oh yeah, they got the right person for that." But
you really
other than that,
you think if there was the writing under her to get anything more than that? Because I just felt it was underwritten. That was the problem with her.
That may have been the problem. They didn't give her enough to work with.
Well, they cut. Didn't they cut like 40 minutes out of the movie or something like that?
That might do it.
Yeah. Hopefully, we get a better cut on Blu-ray, like a director's cut or something, to kind of.
Well, the Avi Arad, who's like one of the producers and like the big guy behind the Sony whatever stuff, comic book stuff, he's already said that there's going to be a Morbius movie.
They're planning that. Yeah,
which got me excited until he was like, "Oh, it's going to be PG-13."
Why? What?
And Jared Leto is playing Morbius.
Oh God.
But here's how I see it. I know a lot of you guys like Venom and Carnage as well, but like, I don't give a fuck about Ant-Man. I don't care about Blair. I don't give a shit about Wasp and Dingo Man and fucking Refrigerator Man. They sound like shitty Mega Man villains. That's what like half of the people in comics sound like to me. Like anything Batman, Superman, and then characters that don't suck ass that aren't in the X-Men universe that Marvel made are like good. But all these other characters like fucking blow. Like I don't like, the only reason why Black Panther made so much fucking money is because they're like, fuck yeah. Colin Kaepernick.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. Refrigerator Man was one of the Green Lantern's most fiercest villains.
Yeah.
So,
That's my greatest villain too. Fuck, Hostess, I need to buy stock in Hostess because I've bought like probably like 20 grand of their product in my life.
Since Cole's not here to say it though, like I will, because I think the same way. Like the Venom thing just bothers me because it's just hard for me to disassociate Venom from Spider-Man.
Right.
And I know that the character does exist beyond Spider-Man, and he has his own series, and he's done all kinds of other things beyond Spider-Man. But it's just sort of like, if you're going to introduce the character and kind of do that origin, I don't know. For me, it just loses something it's a critical element to me. Like, that's just such a powerful entrance, like the way he comes in through Spider-Man and all these other things. I haven't seen the movie. I will eventually, but like that's just kind of what rubs me the wrong way about it.
I can completely understand, going into a movie that maybe isn't as respectful to the source material as maybe it should be. I seem to have had a few experiences like that in my life. So yeah, I completely understand. But if you can set that aside, and I guess Venom gets his morality because he was attached to Peter Parker, right? That's why he's the anti-hero. Well, in this movie, of course, he gets it from Eddie Brock instead of. So I can understand, like, if that whole, that's a pretty huge omission, admittedly, to take Spider-Man out of the story. But what they did was okay. I mean, it could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse too. I guess I was expecting the worst and was somewhat pleasantly surprised and walked out entertained. And I think that's, what a movie's supposed to do.
I can't even form sentences, but Mike, you'd say it was worth a matinee, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I agree.
let me continue on with the intros here. Orc, how are you? How have you been?
Fucking dreaming, memeing.
Well,
You know?
I think we can all see that, you're actually sitting now. So why don't you give everybody a health update?
Might go back to Massachusetts soon. Really soon. Sorry, I'm dying. Hang on.
Oh, apparently the health update isn't great.
Give us a health. Give us a health. Give us a health
think
update. I'm dying.
Those $10 hookers I get you every time. Anyways, if I can get back on topic, EA Bruce, okay, in the game.
Oh, I'm sorry for taking us off topic. I know that's not allowed.
Well, we'll get
Typical.
Griddles. Don't worry, we'll fucking get there, okay. Anyways, basically underneath my butt cheeks, basically, I have to see there's either going to be tons of infection or it's going to be healed, and I have a centimeter of one hole left open instead of 4, and like not a shit ton of edema and stuff. So I'm either fucked for another year and a half, or I'm almost there and it healed with infection on the inside. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Which is not good.
Well, if there's no infection left, it's good. So I mean,
But
it's not good
Right,
when there's
right.
over 8 billion people on the planet, and let's just go after AD. We're in 2018, and I get told 3 or 4 times I'm the first case on medical record for different things. Like I hold the world record for the longest pilonidal cyst recovery time, and I'm still on that record, which is 700 plus days.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's not good when you go to some big city like New York City or like Boston, and they're like, "Well, we've never really seen this before," and I'm like, "Fucking kill me, please! Just give me cyanide or arsenic or something. Like, fuck this shit."
But
hopefully,
there have been improvements though. You're able to sit now, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, dude, I saw Venom. I was the happiest guy in the world. I was like, I can feel my ass cheeks. I don't have an ass crack anymore, but it was good when I did. And this is the meme. This is what we're dreaming. Yep.
Well,
Yeah, Jim, my ass crack is gone. How does it make you feel?
that's maybe a little more than we needed to know, but thank you nonetheless.
Yeah, well,
nonetheless.
You send me nudes, Piz, so I'm just being real here. All right.
All right, well, I appreciate you. I appreciate the candor. I appreciate your candor.
Hashtag me too. All
There
right.
you go. Well, let's move on. Eric, how are you doing tonight? Okay, go. Okay, Orc. Okay, go.
What?
I just said go. You've got something to say.
Okay, we're here at the TSF Nation, not to be confused with the Colbert Nation. We are LGBT friendly. We don't care what kind of sandwiches you eat. We don't care where you dine and wine and 69. From my boy, I just stole that line. Spitting game. But eat whatever you want, literally, and anything, and just keep watching the show, and then donate to Pizzel's Patreon. Join the a month club, or if you live in like someplace like Greenwich, Connecticut, or Los Angeles, make it the $100 a month club or something. I don't know. Right. So
Yeah, everything Orc said up to that point, forget about it. But keep that last point in mind. Eric, how are you tonight, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, doing real good. Had an eventful summer. Had another. Well, I didn't, but my wife had another child, so we've been enjoying all the fun things that go along with that. It's mostly good stuff, but all the things that Jay knows what I'm talking about. I really cannot wait to get out of this we can't sleep through the night phase, or rather my wife's mostly doing that. It's not really me, but I'm just annoyed by it. So
you got your diaper genie working overtime?
Oh god, I hate changing that damn thing. So there's that, but yeah, no, it's been a good summer, and I checked out that Nick Cage film Mandy that everyone was talking about.
That was such a good movie.
Yeah, it's funny, I'm still kind of rolling it around in my head. I really dug the visuals and the cinematography. It was such a unique movie. Dare I say it's David Lynchian, except for the fact that it actually had a plot and coherent storytelling. And I dug it. I liked it. But there just comes a point, like, you know, midway through where it just sort of devolves into this other thing. And I was enjoying it, but I'm still not sure what I think about it as like a movie. Like, I'm not sure if it's a movie like I want to go back to and watch again, if that makes sense. But still, I thought it was cool that like it just kind of got released in theaters, but also like I caught it on Amazon because, you know, we're kind of trapped in the house.
Oh man, I loved it. I'm actually looking forward to going back and rewatching it. It was just so. Yeah, I mean, it took the. I mean, it's a revenge movie. How many revenge movies have we seen? It's got pretty much all the same beats as a revenge movie, but the presentation is like an acid trip. You know what I mean? It's insane.
And maybe, I don't know, like, I guess I was just trying, there were just certain elements to it. I was trying to understand like what I was seeing. Like, maybe you can help me. And there are some spoilers here, so I do apologize for that, you know, but like, was that like biker gang? Were they like human beings or were they like demons or something? Like, I couldn't quite tell if this was like, was this like an acid trip or like what was going on there? Like, I liked it, but I still didn't understand like where they came from or what they were doing.
I think, I mean, the movie explains them as humans who got a hold of some bad drugs, but I mean, like the plot synopsis for the film just says they're demons. So, I mean, I don't know. And then like the way that the guy uses the thing to like summon them, like, I don't know, it was just so weird.
And it's like they drink blood and stuff, which again, it's not like people couldn't do that. Like I said, there were just things like that where I was along for the ride and I enjoyed it. It was just sort of after the fact. I found myself thinking about a number of things and trying to put it together. So maybe I just need to watch it again to get the full, I don't know. I really did. I'll say this though. It was a beautiful movie. Like that was the part that I dug more than anything, was just how boldly visual it was, like in a way that I just don't think I've ever seen before, in a really good way. So that was really cool to see. Like I want to see more out of that director. I forget his name, but
Panos Cosmatos.
There you go. Like he just had a great visual style, like really cool stuff.
He's the son of George Cosmatos, who did Cobra and Tombstone and.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I dug that. That was kind of my big, you know, I saw, you know, a few other tent poles during the summer, but like that was the sort of thing that sticks out that I saw recently that I really, you know, that I dug and was worth talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've got two new people joining us tonight for the very first time. First up, you may recognize him from his own YouTube channel, Christian Hannah Horror. Christian is with us tonight. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good. A little tired, but I'm good. Nothing to complain about.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for joining us to talk about some Halloween movie night recommendations. It's very cool. And if you guys aren't familiar with Christian's channel, just look up Christian Hannah on YouTube and you'll find him. He's been
I'm like a Piz Owl light.
Well, you've been doing it. You've been on here for quite a while, haven't you?
2012.
Yeah. So yep, you definitely, you know, been around for a while, so you know what you're doing.
Haven't gotten flagged yet.
Well, keep those fingers crossed, my friend.
It's arbitrary from what I can tell.
But and also joining me tonight is Lauren Dixon. He is an author. He's also a frequent contributor to the Friday the 13th franchise.com website. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Lauren, you've published, what, 3 novels now?
5 novels.
5 novels. Okay.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah. 3 foot with a Canadian publisher named Coscom that is now out of business. One with a Virginia-based publisher, Cutting Block Books, which is an imprint of Fairlight Entertainment. And my most recent, Bleak December, which if I had actually the forethought to think about it, I would have had a copy to show, but I can't think that far in advance.
Yeah, if I had the forethought too, I would have ran and got my copy. It's next to my bed. I've actually been reading it. It's very, very good, as a matter of fact. Very, very good. Very, very good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us tonight. We've got a couple of new voices here tonight on the Sausage Factory. But yeah, we've just been kind of talking about some recent movies that we've watched. I'll throw out a couple of recent movies I've watched that I thought were really good. Of course, Mandy, you mentioned Mandy, loved Mandy to death. Did you guys remember, did anybody here see Searching or remember seeing the trailer for the movie Searching? Excellent movie. I think it was in theaters for about a weekend. It went away. I only saw one trailer for the movie before it came out. Really good movie. It's called Searching. Look it up. Definitely check it out. Very good movie. And also Upgrade. I saw Upgrade pretty recently. That's another one. Was in theaters very briefly, but very good movie. Loved that movie.
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Very good movie. Of course, Mandy. Loved Mandy to death. Did you guys see The Predator?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Mike, did you see The Predator?
No.
What about you, Stingray? No?
Strangely enough, no.
I'm surprised.
Everybody was shitting on it, and I don't know. I hesitated. I was interested, and then
I've heard it's not good from quite a few people.
I've never really been big of a fan enough of the series to really care to go see it. I mean, I like the first one, sure, and Danny Glover's not bad, but it never really did much for me personally. So
what you're saying is you don't want some candy? Yeah, sorry.
I like Schwarzenegger and the whole cast of the first one. It's classic. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I'd rather spend my money on other shit than the Predator. So.
Well, I figured that is one that we'd all would have gone to see, but I guess not. I saw it. I had mixed feelings about it. Lauren, I know you really liked it, right?
Yeah, with the caveat that I'm not a series fan at all.
Oh, okay.
So for my money, it's good mainstream entertainment that's instantly forgettable. But that's all it is. But again, when you come down to the Alien versus Predator films or even Predator 2, I saw them. I remember nothing about them. The original I remember because it's iconic, but I was never a big fan.
Okay.
Yes, the body.
I feel like I'm starting to get like Mike. I'm like really, really jaded. And I'm just like prepared to just be pissed off all the time at new movies. So I thought I would save myself I don't know, man. Alien Covenant really like crushed me. So it like broke my soul a little bit, I think. So I don't really want to have that experience in the theater again.
I don't know. You don't internalize, man. It's not that we're jaded. It's that this shit sucks.
True.
Okay, it's not our fault. Well, we go in wanting a good movie, we don't get one, and all of a sudden it's our fault because we didn't enjoy it. No, that's bullshit.
I agree. I agree with Lauren's assessment. Although I love the first Predator, I love the second Predator. The AVP movies are just kind of meh. Predators was just kind of meh.
And I love To Catch a Predator. It's a great show.
I think you were on. I think you were on an episode of To Catch a Predator, weren't you?
Can you please not bring up past events?
He was the one that kept asking for iced tea refills.
What were you gonna say?
I was on 2 episodes. I wasn't gonna eat all the Domino's by myself or all the Chipotle. Okay, I needed help. So Big Johnny 592 said he'd help me in the chat room of AOL Instant Messenger. So what do you want from me? Fucking.
You brought some wine coolers and condoms, huh? What were you planning on doing tonight?
No, I didn't.
I have the transcripts.
The transcripts come out as the best part. It's like,
yeah. Now, at what part?
Right there. He's got like condoms in his hand.
He's like okay, I've got the transcripts here. At what point does it mention Chipotle, sir?
Yeah.
Some like FBI chick who comes out is like in like the show Ozark. She's like, no bullshit. She's like killed like 15 people that you don't know about, and she's like, so you're gonna fuck Teresa? Were you? And he's like, I don't know. I just got some Chipotle and I stumbled into the house.
I didn't know what I'm doing here.
You know, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I got some
Don't run, please don't run.
Hold on. What was that, Christian? I'm sorry.
I was going to say this. I've thought about this for a long time, but I've never said it out loud to anybody. I think I'm the only person that thinks like this, and it's probably just because I'm cheap. If you've ever happened to come across my page, like, I never review movies that are like in the theaters because, like, here's the thing: that the new Predator movie, I've seen them all, and I'll probably get it on Blu-ray when it comes out. I'm so cheap, I'm not going to double dip. Like, so I'd rather just wait for it to come out on video, get it, and then review it on YouTube, and no one's going to give a damn because everybody else is already. Like, I did Hereditary last week. Nobody watched it, of course not. I loved it, so I reviewed it. But, like, I just don't go to the theater because I'm going to buy it. So why am I going to double dip? And plus, I don't feel like seeing cell phones light up. In
you don't, man. Christian, you don't need that shit.
That's just
you get an email address, you got a UV account for Ultraviolet, and you link it to Walmart, and then you basically suck a bunch of people off and have a shitty show that died that sucked dog. It was fucking terrible anyway. It was dog shit. And then you just beg them for free money because you can't keep your shitty website online. And then you get free UV codes through Voodoo.
Like that's a specific reference.
Like, I'll go see Halloween in the theater, sure, but like that, it takes a lot to get me to the theater nowadays. It's got to either be Halloween or porn, basically. So
I do agree with that sentiment that, like, I don't just go to the theater anymore for any movie. Like, it's got to be, like, Halloween's a good example. I'm definitely going to see that. Or some kind of event movie that the theater experience is really just going to, being there with the crowd will be cool. But like The Predator, like, I was never going to go see that in theaters.
You might pick it up on video, huh? Just to see it.
Right.
But,
right.
Why do this? This is how I'll go see everything in the theater.
Well, no, actually, I was going to say I'm kind of that way too. I mean, for me, a trip to the theater it's got to be a movie that I'm really excited about. Now, every now and again, if it's, there'll be like, hey, you want to just go watch this movie? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I was excited about The Predator. That's why I went and saw it in the theater. But honestly, I mean, I don't know what it is, if it's just laziness or if it's I just don't want to go to the theater, or I don't know. It's the hassle of going to the theater, and like my local theater now, they're making you, if you have a bag or anything that's bigger than a football, they're like wanting you to lock it up in your car, or they're wanting to like put on rubber gloves and body search you to make sure you don't have a Coke, hidden somewhere on your body, and
You're kidding me.
No, for real.
Is it a chain? What is it?
It's just a little mom and pop theater.
Really?
Wow.
Just a little mom and pop theater.
You go drink a Coke, you go pay $9 like the rest of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, for watered down Coke that's half filled with ice.
You go
I could hide some stuff.
In their defense,
candy bar.
In their defense, they don't really make money off of the ticket sale. It's the concessions that keep the doors open. So, although it does seem a bit extreme, it's somewhat understandable.
I wish, and I wish they would just say that and be like, look, we don't make money off tickets. We make money off concessions, buy our concessions. But they're hiding behind, it's a safety issue.
Exactly.
We're looking out for our customers. I'm like, bull crap. Screw you.
Just put a sign out there, no outside food allowed.
I'm sure they probably have that already.
So many times they frisk me and they check my pants and they're like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, it's a king size Snickers. What do you want? I'm sorry.
Is it a king size Snickers or my penis? Do you really want to go through this?
It could be whatever you want it to be, honey.
This is
down this rabbit hole.
I've kind of become a snob about going to the movies. Like, when I was still back in Virginia, I was only going to the Alamo Draft House. Like, it was like, I didn't mind paying extra money because it's like I liked the experience so much, and I liked the food. It was kind of like they made pretty good food. The experience was really good. It's like it felt like worth my money. Like, again, if it's going to be expensive, at least I'm okay with the value. And then they don't have Alamo out here in Washington, but there's a theater chain called iPick that is kind of like ritzy is probably the way I would describe it. Like, you get like seats that have like blankets and pillows, and they like you can put your feet up. But it's like it's just a good experience. They also have good food.
I agree.
So like I'm willing to sort of like double down. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna be paying all this money anyway, why don't I just go full tilt and really enjoy the whole experience? So that's what I do now.
That's exactly watch the movie too, so you ain't gotta hear nobody else.
Yeah, there's a theater either like an hour or so north of me or an hour or so south of me, like recliner seats, big recliner seats, tons of leg room. I can buy a beer and take it into the theater with me. You know what I mean?
And we've got those too around here, but I don't want to get too comfortable because I don't want to. That'd be a really expensive nap. Because if I get too comfortable, I'm out.
They got those reclining seats, man. The lights go out. I'm out.
Well,
I slept through Pacific Rim, man.
That's why I only go to movies I really want to see, because I'm invested in watching it. I'm not gonna fall asleep or argue.
I know it's really easy to get invested in being comfortable too.
Right.
This is a great movie, but wait a minute. How long? I fell asleep. Shit. I mean, it just happened. It's automatic. It's not like I make the conscious decision to fall asleep.
Yeah,
Get comfortable and it happens.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, go ahead, Stingray.
I was going to say there a lot of theaters are switching to the food, food and beverages, adult beverages, and there's none around my area, but I know in a lot of the Alamos do stuff like that.
Yep.
And it seems like they're trying to cater to a different audience rather than the casual moviegoer. It's an experience, and like Eric said, you're going to spend the money anyway. Why not just get a meal? Instead of paying $12 for a popcorn, why not pay $12 for a burger?
Exactly.
And actually get a meal.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's I think that was the thing that was starting to bother me about AMC and Regal is you go in there and you spend $30 on food and it's garbage. The popcorn's chewy. It's not crunchy. It tastes like oil. You could, some of them would make chicken tenders or something and they're horrible. You get sick after eating them. I don't know. Let's go to a place that's actually trying to do good. I mean, before these movies, it kind of annoys me. This is why I like Alamo better than I Pick, but they have these things where it's sort of what's the chef cooking this month? So there's even little cooking segments before the movies start showing you what new thing the chef will have in the next month at I Pick or whatever. But I'm just I'm okay with that. It's okay, make artsy fartsy food, whatever you want to do. If it tastes good, charge me for it. But it's not chewy popcorn. I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Wait. Have you seen Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, and they've been sponsored by Rotten Tomato and Gordon Ramsay? And he comes out and he goes, "It's fucking raw, mate." No? Okay, sorry.
Let's see what's going on in the chat tonight. We've got a lively chat already. We've got quite a few viewers. Daniel Wallace, what's up? Brian Piotrowski, how are you tonight? Rhonda Toy, Joe Caraluzzo, what's up, man? Jacob McCullum, everybody seems excited that we are back. Josh O'Brien. Seben Siegel, what's up? Let's see. Rambo Raff. Rambo Raff is in the chat tonight. Hope you're doing well, Rambo. We miss you, buddy. We miss you. Red Band Cast, Steven is with us tonight. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Movie Man 95, what's up?
I looked away from the chat for 5 minutes and it completely exploded. That's awesome.
Indy Phantom, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Let's see. Manny Gatillo, what's up? How are you? PlayStation 9, what's going on? See, we've got a lively chat. You love the Piz Pad Indy Phantom? That's great. Thanks. Montgomery Jackson, what's up, man? How are you? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, we've got a lively chat going on tonight. It's yeah.
Is that a Pennywise standee I see behind you?
It is actually. I actually had to go. I actually put it out so it could loom over my shoulder, but then I must have bumped it when I came back in after talking to Jeremy. So
it's very, very creepy.
Yeah. I like to have him back there. I like to look over my shoulder in the mirror here and just know he's back there watching over me. Makes me feel good.
Okay.
Yeah. Just makes me happy.
Watch the Castle Rock show, did you, Piz?
I did. I liked it. Yeah. I'm not. I need to go rewatch the final episode. I liked it, but I kept going, okay, I think half of the episodes, they're just weird for being weird, for weirdness' sake. But I don't know. I liked it. I
always get turned off. Well, this is not a spoiler, but it ends on a cliffhanger. Obviously, they're going to continue I always hate when they do that.
Well, it's going to be the launching pad for a whole Stephen King universe. Like clearly the woman who was Jack Torrance's niece or whatever, she's going to have her own thing. Yeah, I mean it's going to spin off into it's going to be a whole Stephen King universe.
That was the girl that was in the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of her name. What was her name? Jane Levy. Yeah.
And she's also in that other Fede Alvarez movie. Don't Breathe or something like that.
Yep. Don't Breathe. Yep. Pretty good actress.
She's a redhead.
Oh, Eric likes those gingers. Those gingers. There you go. Movie Man 95 is still watching The Walking Dead.
Why, man? Why are you torturing yourself? Come on, man.
That's still on.
Give it up. It's gonna be on for fucking 25 years. It's killing me.
As long as I think the season 7 or whatever the new season is, like
season 9.
Season 9, like the ratings keep going just hugely downhill, but they're still pulling in 30 million people. So I mean,
the premiere was the lowest premiere ever for them.
What's going to happen after Rick leaves?
Yeah. Well, there's probably going to be a big bump, at least initially, to watch him leave and then to see what they do after. And if they fumble the ball, and I have no reason to believe that they won't, then it's just going to, keep dropping and dropping.
Yeah, I tried, man. I tried. That whole Negan bullshit. Oh.
I tuned out way before.
I'm not going to be your pawn. I'm not going to be trolled by the creators of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tuned out long before Negan even got into the thing. So,
it really sucks because I think Darabont had something going. I very much liked the first season. I kind of liked his take on it, and I think letting Kirkman be such a huge creative voice there is really what doomed it. Kirkman, I think, butted heads with Frank Darabont about certain things, and so I don't know.
Well, from my understanding, Darabont has been very hush hush about it. I think he's able to talk about it now, since he was suing AMC and whatever.
Yeah,
I think that's still going on though.
I knew there was a lawsuit.
Is it? I don't. From what I understand, they wanted to cut the money out of the show, and he wanted to open it up, and they wanted to make it smaller.
And that's why he left, right?
Yeah. So basically, by filming in Georgia was giving them a big tax credit because Georgia's hey, come film here. We're awesome. We want the investment from the film people, and we'll give you a tax credit. And AMC was like, oh, great, we can make more money. And Frank Darabont was like, what are you talking about? Put that in the show. And he fought with them about that. Meanwhile, AMC lobbied back the charge. Well, no, what really happened is that Frank Darabont shot the first episode of season 2 was garbage. He created this whole thing and it was nonsense. It was terrible. So we got rid of him. Or, that's the short version of it. I don't really know which is true, but I don't know. I tend to believe Frank Darabont, honestly, especially given what they've done with the show since. I don't trust their instincts on that.
They released some emails that Darabont wrote to somebody at AMC about somebody, I don't know. And they were vicious emails. Pretty vicious. But anyway. Montgomery Jackson mentions, what did he say? Does John Carpenter seem pissed off in the recent Halloween interviews? I've not seen it.
He kind of always seems pissed off.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of his demeanor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say pissed off. He's very he's unfiltered. He's very candid.
He's the most pissed off stoner you'll ever meet.
He seems like he's annoyed that he's not the only person on the planet.
Well, he's probably at the point with this Halloween movie that he's been at the point with his Halloween movie for the past 30 years. He's tired of talking about it.
Yeah.
He's probably at that point.
Checks though.
He'll cash those checks. Yeah. Weed ain't free. So
I saw an interview he did with this British guy who was being all formal, got the turtleneck and trying to ask John these questions. And John's just no, God, no, I don't think like that. No, God, no. And the guy's, well, how did you come up with Halloween theme? I went on the keyboard and went bong, and I hit the note. That's literally what he said to this guy. And this guy's got his pad out. He's got his pen between his fingers and stuff. And John's got his Kmart kickers on, jeans.
Yeah.
No, kid, I don't think like that.
Got a Marlboro Light in his hand.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing, but I kind of like that he's a jerk, you know.
I like that. I like that about him. I wouldn't say he's a jerk. I mean, I think he's just, I don't know. He's just.
I'm not putting him down. I'm a major fan of his work, and I think he's earned his attitude.
Like Dave Mustaine to me, Dave Mustaine's not a guy you don't talk to nice, but we love Dave Mustaine. I love Dave Mustaine. He's the Dave Mustaine of horror movies.
I mean, because John, after The Thing, his experience with The Thing pretty much, gave him his attitude, and it's only gotten worse since then. But he earned it. I mean, and the older I get, the more I understand it. So I'm definitely not putting him down. I'm just making an observation.
Oh, he's the man. I love him.
Yeah, he's a very intimidating dude. And he's gotten old now, so now he's intimidating and just like, as someone said in the chat, a crotchety old man.
Well, I'm finding out that the older you get, the less you give a shit. And it's a very freeing experience. It's like, wow, I really don't give a shit anymore. This is awesome. So
I think he's always been that way. But it's just gotten more prevalent with age.
It seems like that kind of I don't give a shit attitude has really turned into some really cool stuff, though. Like, I don't know whether he has a YouTube channel that's like for his like record label. And a video popped up. I don't know if it was earlier this year or how long it was up there, but it was just like the Christine theme, but he shot a new music video for it. Yeah. And I really dug it. Like, it's just really cool. It's the Christine theme, but then he's in it too. Like, it's the Christine car. He's driving it. You don't really see that until the end exactly, but and then there's just this like hot girl that the car is chasing. And I don't know, like, it just seemed like this odd, like, all of a sudden there's just a music video for Christine, like a brand new one. That just seemed like such an odd thing to do, but I dug it and I thought it was really cool. Like, if he's going to be doing that kind of stuff or scoring a new Halloween movie, because okay, why not? Like, that's really cool. That's cool stuff to do. I can appreciate that.
Going out on tour and playing his music and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, it's he loves being with the people and the fans. Like, the tour stuff, I wish I could have seen that because it looked incredible. I really just think he hates being asked, how did you come up with the script? It's probably the same question. How many times do you have to answer it? And I get it, but,
I think if you interviewed him about his music and about just music in general, you'd get a much better interview than if you
ask him about his favorite strain of weed or his favorite video game or what goes better with Dead Space, sativa or indica. You know what I mean? If you have a conversation like that, it's like, what weed gives you the best musical ideas? You'd probably have a new best friend.
Exactly.
You know what's crazy? If you go back and look at him from like the late 80s, call me nuts. Like when he was really skinny and the cigarettes really took over his skin, he looks more dead and older then in like 88, 90 than he does now. He looks old now, but that era, he looked like a corpse. Like he looked like The Walking Dead to me.
Like body bags era.
Yeah, body bags. I mean, look at him right there. He looks like he's hanging on by a thread.
I think a lot of these indie directors that tried to go mainstream, tried to work with the studios, got burnt really, really hard as the 80s went on. And then when the horror boom died, these guys had nowhere to go. They all thought they'd have opportunities, whether it's Memoirs of an Invisible Man or whatever. They all thought they had somewhere to go inside the system, and they all found out that the system didn't care about them, didn't give a shit. So Toby Hooper gets like The Mangler as his last hurrah for a real studio, and then has to scrimp back to films that he can't really make on the budget that he could raise. And I think Carpenter got out for that reason. I think Ghost of Mars just completely broke his spirit. And I know The Ward is, The Ward is The Ward. I think if you look at it, we all think of it probably kinder than we should, only because it is a John Carpenter film. But if a different director had done the same film, we'd probably lump it in with a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But I think that's left him a little bit bitter. And I think a lot of those guys from that era were bitter. I think Toby Hooper, that definitely happened to. So I think that's pretty common.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It's my favorite Chevy Chase movie. And probably my favorite John movie of the 90s. I swear, I just love that movie. I got it on Laserdisc, and I watch it all the time. It just never ceases to amaze me. I love it. And Daryl Hannah was hot at that point, too. So.
Still hot.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. I just love it. And it wasn't that Chevy. Chevy was the guy who, I don't think he pushed necessarily to have John, but he definitely that was his deal he wanted to do, right? from that documentary I saw on YouTube, it looked like Chevy really wanted to make that movie happen. That was like his thing. I don't know if he wrote the script or not, but I think he really pushed for that movie. Because I can't see Universal saying, "Hey, Chevy, we want you to do, Memoirs of an Invisible Man," instead of, let's do National Lampoon's Vacation.
Right. Yeah.
Atlantic City or something.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into the topic at hand here. Halloween is just right around the corner. Everybody's getting into the Halloween spirit, watching tons of horror movies. So we decided to do a show tonight where we would give you guys some recommendations on movies to watch on Halloween night. However, we're not going to pick the obvious titles. Halloween, of course, Friday the 13th. Some the obvious Halloween night choices. We've decided to go with some deeper tracks, so to speak. So, it should be an interesting, fun show. So why don't we get started? And as is our ritual, we'll open the floor to the professor. B-Movie Mike first. What you got for us tonight, Mike?
Oh man, I tried to, stay away from the usual staples, but what seems like a usual staple to me might not be to other people. Because
that's true.
Once you're in this world of these movies, even things you think are mainstream, people haven't heard of. So. So I did dip into the 70s a bit because I love 70s horror. The Devil's Reign.
Very good.
Ernest Borgnine, William Shatner, young John Travolta. Tom Skerritt's in that, I think.
Yep, Tom Skerritt.
Yeah. It's just a great 70s, in the wake of The Exorcist, all the demonic stuff that came out after that. It's just a good flick. 1975. If you're not into old films or that stuff that doesn't appeal to you, still give it a shot. I mean, at least it's something different for Halloween. From the same year, Peter Fonda, Warren Oates, Race with the Devil. Was it a professional motorcycle racer and his mechanic and their significant others go on a Winnebago trip, and then they end up pissing off a town full of Satanists. So actually quite entertaining in my opinion.
I didn't want to do that. Yeah.
Now this one from 76, it should be mainstream. The Omen. I was kind of reaching with that one because I don't know how popular that series of films, the later films were not that great, but the first two are awesome. And the original, it's got some good stars in it. Richard Donner, pre-Superman director. Yeah. It's a good flick. It's a tight flick. I really like it.
I don't think The Omen necessarily is a deep track, but I wouldn't call it a popular choice for this either. I think it works for sure.
It's not like Exorcist or Halloween or Texas Chainsaw or something that everybody's heard of, but I think it doesn't. It should be bigger than it is. It should be recognized with those films because I think it's as good.
It might be a generation. It was. I think that it's kind of not translated to younger people like a lot of these other titles have.
I think they've probably heard it, but they've heard of it, but they've not seen it.
Well, they remade it in 05.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they did
there was
a show.
Yeah, that it didn't get renewed, but yeah, there was a season of, it was called Damien, I think, on A&E, something like that. Yeah.
But all four movies are available on HBO right now. If anybody wants to check those out.
Huh.
Fourth one's shit.
Yeah.
Don't watch the fourth one.
The fourth one's like a TV movie, right?
Yeah. It was the Damien was a chick or something.
It's Damien's daughter.
Okay. I knew they replaced the situation.
Well, it's like, because I think Damien died in the third one, so they basically just restart it. It's like they have him like a new kid is born and it's a girl this time. I don't know. It's kind of dumb. But
I kind of like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say let's mix it up, throw a girl in there.
Yeah, that seems to be the usual formula. Part 3 was pretty good. A young Sam Neill as Damien as he rises through politics, and that was good. It wasn't as good as the first two. I liked Damien Omen 2 is probably my favorite of the Omen films because that's when he comes into his own and realizes who he is and chooses to. At first, he rejects it and then chooses to embrace it. And I thought that was and the actor who played him did a great job. So, although the first film is classic, the second one's my favorite.
Hard to beat Gregory Peck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Lee Remick, I think, is his mom. Is that who she was? I'm guessing there. Two from 1977, The Sentinel.
Oh yeah,
Very good one.
I think that's a nice creepy flick about the corner apartment is the gateway to hell, and the Sentinel is the only thing that keeps them at bay. It's a good flick. It's a nice slow burn.
Yeah.
And I think one that's probably a pretty deep track, but Ruby from 1977 about a haunted drive-in movie theater.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's actually it's actually pretty good.
I have to look into it. Now, The Devil's Reign got a pretty good Blu-ray release from Severin not long ago, so that would be something to look into. And The Sentinel got a pretty good Blu-ray release from Scream Factory not long ago. So
before then, it was really a deep cut. The Sentinel.
Yeah,
like, nobody ever talked about it.
Very few people talked. Even what's his name? Jeez, Sarandon at conventions wasn't even he didn't even have Sentinel stuff to sign there. So
yeah, that's one of my favorites from my childhood. I didn't stay in the 70s for all of them. 1980 had George C. Scott, the Changeling.
That's a good one.
Always been one of my favorite haunted house movies.
Yep, I almost put that one on my list.
It's, I love George C. Scott. He's a great actor, and it's a good story, and I think everything works well.
Yeah,
in
that one also got a good Blu-ray release from Severin.
And another George C. Scott. He's twice on my list. I didn't plan it this way. It just happened. But I'm gonna go Exorcist 3.
Nice.
That's on my list, and I was worried that would count as mainstream. But like, for example, Halloween 3 is on my list because even though it's Halloween, I don't think that's mainstream. But I'm glad someone else said it then. But I think that's a great choice. I like that movie a lot.
I like the flick. I really do. And of course, the first one is always going to be my favorite, but the third one is a really close second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Well, that one too. That one got an excellent Blu-ray release from Scream Factory, and Michael Felsher actually did the last interview with William Peter Blatty before he passed away.
Oh, cool.
But that's a very underrated movie, and that Blu-ray actually has both cuts of the film. It's got the Blatty cut, known as the Legion cut, and it's got the theatrical cut, and both of them are very good.
And Brad Dourif, knocks it out of the park. That's a tour de force performance. I know he's known for Chucky, but he's done, and that was great.
His performance in the theatrical cut is actually better than in the Legion cut.
To be honest, I think he's one of the most underrated actors out there. Because Brad, again, he's Chucky, and people always cast him in just like these creepy roles. But I think if you look at the balance of his work, whenever he's given the freedom to like act and do things, he's really very good. I think he's just gotten typecast in his career. But really, because he was on Deadwood, he played a great role on that. He was in Mississippi Burning.
He was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
Best part is rabies or Jewish priests, and I would do anything I could for them. I love it.
Even in like Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. He's so good. He's much better than that movie deserves. He's so good in that performance.
Good timing. He really does. I forgot it was Brad Dourif actually the first time I watched it, to be honest with you. And I saw that in the theater, and I didn't realize that was Brad Dourif till later on. He acted in the movie, and he did a good job. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Lauren, were you trying to say something?
Yeah, 10 years ago, I met William Peter Blatty in Philadelphia when he was promoting his novel Demeter, and we talked for about an hour after the signing. It was not a well-attended signing. People didn't show up. And
man,
here's something about Brad Dourif's performance there that is just not really being talked about. Wasn't part of the original shooting at all. He was not on the set with anyone but himself. Wow. That shot of the iconic shot of them both on either side of the screen was a composite. He shot everything solo. That was part of the reshoots when they decided to add the exorcism scene when the studio mandated that be added. That makes the performance even more remarkable because he feels like he's in the picture. So yeah, an incredible performance. Legion is my favorite novel, period. And telling Blatty that, he was overcome. He was visibly shaken that someone finally got it because he kind of got slagged for that novel from the moment it was published, which is sad because he was an incredible artist. He wrote the first 2 Pink Panther movies.
Yeah.
People forget just how much range this guy had.
Mm-hmm. Now, is the novel Legion very close to the film?
It's better. I love Exorcist 3. It is on my list of top 20 horror films of all time. On a good day, I like it more than the original Exorcist because I think it has more thought to it. There's more to a lot of the side characters, like Dr. Amphitrus, who is the one who overdoses in the movie. There's an entire side story that informs the main plot in the novel. And if you love the dialogue, like you just mentioned, whether it's the carp speech or the rabies are Jewish priests, you need to read the novel because it's every page. Every page is brilliant dialogue. So
nice.
It is in print at the moment, and that's not always true. So you can pick up a copy fairly cheap. I really recommend it. Exorcist would be on my list, but I did think it was too mainstream. But it's awesome.
Can I ask you all this? Because I'm obviously the baby in this movie. Did this movie fly under the radar in '90? Like, did it get good reviews, bad reviews? Did nobody see it, or what?
It didn't do well. It didn't do well.
Like box office wise or critic wise?
I think both, really.
Yeah.
It had a staggered release. So it didn't hit all territories at the same time. And unfortunately, some key bad reviews really killed its later cities that it hit.
Yeah.
That was more common then. We almost always have just full nationwide rollouts now. But that was at the very end of the point where we still had city by city rollouts. And it was one of the last casualties.
Does anybody know if Siskel or Ebert gave it a bad rate? Were they still like the tour de force as far as reviews? Like if they gave you a bad review, like they literally were like the YouTube reviewers before YouTube, right? Like,
I think they gave it good reviews, but I don't really remember. I seem to recall they did, but I don't remember.
I used to love them. I used to watch them all the time.
2 things going against it. One, The Exorcist 2.
Right.
That pretty much killed the entire franchise right there. And it didn't come out until 1990, which was quite, it was like, 12 years after Exorcist 2?
Mm-hmm.
And, a long time after the original. So I think the timing, the shitty second sequel, and we had Alien 3 and a couple other 3s that were kind of shitty, and I just don't think it clicked. Maybe it was the advertising, maybe it was reviews. I don't remember exactly. I do remember seeing it in the theater, and even I was kind of like not knowing what to expect because I didn't read the book. Yeah. But I did enjoy it, but I enjoy it more now. It's a movie that's grown on me, and it's right up there with the original, and sometimes it even surpasses the original just because I've seen it so many times.
Well, Lauren even said it. I mean, they made him add the Exorcist. It wasn't an Exorcist story. I mean, it was linked to the Exorcist, but it wasn't. It shouldn't have been called Exorcist 3. They forced him to add the exorcism into it so that they could call it the Exorcist 3. Because he wanted to call it Legion after his novel, and the novel doesn't have an exorcism in it.
Can I ask y'all this? Do y'all think it suffers from Halloween 3 syndrome? If it would have been called Legion, you think it'd been better, or just no way of knowing?
It would never be made.
No.
I argue against that. It's not a good movie. I think it's because it's definitely something that I think it's one of those movies that at the time people didn't receive it well, but I think it's really kind of become a classic is maybe overstating it, but I think people look at that film a lot more positively now than they did then. I mean, again, it's something that I think has been reevaluated by like the film community, or at least I think horror fans regard it a lot better now than they did at the time.
Yeah, I love it, man. I'm glad y'all brought that up. I really like that movie a lot.
Yeah, very good. Very good movie. Well, Mike, if there's any more on your list, can we come back around to you?
Sure.
Okay. Christian, why don't you go ahead? I know you said you're running on empty. If you want to go ahead and jump in and tell us some of your favorite or give us some of your recommendations for Halloween night movies.
I'm gonna go for the laughs on my first one. Funny side note, I used to go to Walmart and those big bins of DVDs, I would go and find those like 8-pack of horror movies, which apparently they're worth money now. I've had people try to buy them from me. And my brother, I got him to really be a horror fan because of me. And he goes, "Hey, dude, what's that one with the Jason mask on it?" And I said, "I don't know. It's called Bloody Mary. It can't be no good." He goes, "Grab it. It's like $7." So we grab it. and it was Halloween night. I'll never forget. My brother's drinking beers. I'm not a big drinker, but we're just chilling, watching it. And this movie starts, and this guy has this, Friday the 13th 5 mask on, and this guy calls him Trevor Morehouse. It's so ridiculous. And if memory serves, I could be wrong, but this thing was so bad that when he starts moving around with the chainsaw, they didn't, like, when they added the track with the chainsaw, they didn't even bother to have the chainsaw on, if memory serves. We watched it. We laughed our asses off. We watched the second one, and apparently they got in trouble because he wasn't wearing a hockey mask in the second one. But I'm just going for the last from our first movie. That's going to be Bloody Murder. If you can get your hands on it, and you got a buddy that you can have a good time with, Bloody freaking Murder, man.
I've seen it. I've seen 1 and 2. I've seen them both. I've seen them both.
Bloody Murder, man. And I still got that little. I have a man, Piz. I got all of them. I used to go to Walmart and I would dig, brother. I would get all those movies out. Now I got the ones with Bride of Reanimator before you could get it on DVD normally. Like all those movies, I still got them. Return of the Living Dead 3's on one of them. Some good stuff, on those. The transfers look like garbage, but you kind of help some of those films, in my opinion. So, but definitely Bloody Murder is my first one, man. I love that movie so bad. So, secondly, I used to watch Cinemassacre for the AVGN, and I started watching his reviews, and he talked about a movie called Evil Ed, and just the stuff he said from there. Oh, when I tried to get it on Laserdisc because I collect a lot of those. Lost out a bit, just brokenhearted, and I really wasn't big. I'm not big on VHS. Like I like my Laserdisc, so I put a lot of money into that, and so I just never wanted to spend money on VHS tapes. I could have got it on VHS, didn't. Arrow Video saved the day, and I just love that movie. The guy who's like, "Where's my beaver rape scene? That scene's worth a fortune." And it's all dubbed of the words. I love that movie. Some of the just shots on it are really funny. So definitely Evil Ed. I think it was from '95. So it was Swedish guys or something, right? Maybe not Swedish, but
I forget. But yeah, it's like you said, it's a lot of fun. It's really well made. The great effects in it. And Arrow put it out. It's got a great Blu-ray from Arrow. Yeah, and
I love that movie. And the special features, those two guys that directed it or whatever, the two guys that made the film, they're a hoot too. So I love it when, it's always interesting. I was worried it was going to be Troll 2 syndrome, where you got this Italian guy who thinks he made a masterpiece, and he takes the movie so seriously and everybody laughs. But these guys were like, no, this movie's ridiculous, and we love it, and we're glad you love it. So that's cool. And I was going to say Exorcist 3, but I'm just going to hoe out and say it because I just love the movie so much, and it's mainstream for the most part, but just Return of the Living Dead. If there's anybody who happens to see this that hasn't seen Return of the Living Dead, it's like when I die, I want that Blu-ray, my Laserdisc, my Japanese Laserdisc, my Tarman mask. I want it in my casket with me because I love that movie so much. It's just my favorite movie. It makes me feel good. I'm a punk rocker. I love the music in it. It's just my movie, man. It's my favorite zombie movie in the world. I love all three of them. So Return of the Living Dead all day, every day. I just love the movie.
I watched it last night.
Hell yeah. I love it, man. It's a great film.
Linnea, I think Linnea's worth the price of admission.
Great cast. It's got great sense of humor about itself, but while remaining dark and gory, and you know what I mean?
Clu Gulager. Who's the other guy at the beginning?
James
Tom Matthews.
Oh yeah, and Tom Matthews, and the music, like you said, yeah, it's definitely it was a little. I felt it was a little mainstream. That's why it didn't make my list. But definitely, if you haven't seen it,
I'm holding out.
Where the hell have you been? Watch it.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up. I just love it.
It's cool.
To me.
Good choice.
Yeah, good choice. What else you got, Christian?
Let's see. Here's another one. I watched it the other day, so I may as well bring it up. I living in Louisiana, there's not a lot of people like me, and it may be the same way for y'all because horror's just not everywhere, especially the old school type stuff. I've been getting my buddies into Leprechaun, the first one specifically. I love that, and I didn't really like the movie, but it may just be a personal preference. Arrow put out, I think it's called The Brain. I tried it, not bad to me, but I don't know. Maybe I just need to rewatch it again. But But that's good, and I really like Shawnee Smith's the one she did, and I think it was the Blob. I thought the special effects in that were really kick ass. So the Blob was cool, and my dad, I remember he told me about that, and we sought that out. We got the Blob, and I thought that scene where I think they're at the hospital, and then the boyfriend really that shot of him reaching out was just great stuff. Oh, and great. Speaking my last one, because I don't want to talk too much, but me and my wife, we love it. We sing the song all the time. Is The Stuff. I just love The Stuff. Every time I want something, they give me Mo or whatever it is. I love The Stuff. So that'll be my last one, because I don't want to just keep going. I could, but yeah, The Stuff. I love The Stuff. It's just a great movie.
Yeah, The Stuff is good. I actually bought the Arrow Blu-ray of The Stuff probably about 6 months ago, because I'd not seen the film in years, and I was like, I need to watch this again. And the Blob remake is so freaking good. The effects in that movie are so freaking good, man.
Well, Fizz, where's our Scream Factory?
I don't know.
I bought an HD copy on Vudu years ago.
There was a Twilight Time DVD of it.
That's what it was.
There was a Twilight Time Blu-ray. I don't know if it's a good one or not. Umbrella Entertainment out of Australia released a pretty good Blu-ray release of it. I did a review of it last year sometime. It's actually pretty good.
I ain't got time for all that. I need Scream Factory to get the ball rolling, or Arrow. Somebody step up and do it. It's too good of a movie. Why is it so hard to get? If you can get Trick or Treat and Candyman, for God's sakes, get the Blob.
It's because of Twilight Time. Twilight Time released one of their limited edition Blu-rays, and those go quick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the Umbrella Entertainment one is pretty good, though.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all. It's just.
Yeah. But I love the effects of that movie are so freaking good. Like you said, when it falls on the boyfriend, and it's just so nasty.
Killer stuff.
So nasty.
Oh man, I love the scene when the guy's like mixing drinks in his trunk.
Yeah.
And he goes around to the. It's actually like one of the Baywatch babes, I think. Is who that woman is.
It is. Yep.
And she's all like messed up. By the time he gets back around to her.
Yeah. Or like the scene where the woman is in the phone booth, and she's calling to trying to get in touch with the sheriff, and then the thing latches on to the phone booth, and the sheriff is inside of it decomposing. That's so freaking good, man.
Oh, man.
So freaking good.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah,
that's a good double feature too. The Stuff and the Blob remake. I'm gonna have to do that.
That would be
a day or two.
That would be a great back-to-back for Halloween. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got the ball rolling now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stingray, what do you got for us, man?
Oh man, that's definitely my wheelhouse. The stuff he's talking about right there, man.
Cheers.
I don't know, man. I always like to go for the demon stuff around Halloween time, and the monsters, the creature feature stuff. That's generally my go-to stuff anyway. So I got to go with like Ghoulies. I go with the first 3 Ghoulies. I think those are solid. Let's see, Demon Knight. You guys a fan of that one? Tales from the Crypt.
Love it.
And of course, classic Night of the Demons.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, and 3. They're all pretty good. Even the remakes, not too bad. And the Lamberto Bava's Demons, Demons 2.
Yep, those 2 were on my list.
And you got to go with Hard Rock Zombies. That's on pretty much any horror list to ever make. So, and see, one I wanted to mention, I bet you guys haven't heard of, is The Dead Hate the Living.
Oh, I've seen it. I've got it. I own it.
That's one I've never heard anybody talk about.
Yeah, never heard anybody talk about that one either.
And let's see, I had some newer stuff on my list, but I don't really think that really matters. Let's see, Midnight Meat Train.
Oh yeah, I really like that one too. Really liked it.
There's a really good Australian film called Wormwood: The Road of the Dead. It's a zombie flick.
That one's actually been on my list to watch for quite a while. I need to get around to watching it.
It was on Netflix at one time. That was one I liked a lot. Yet another one no one talks about. Let's see. How about Charles Bronson, 10 to Midnight?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's a good one.
And I could rattle more off if you want me to.
Well, let's talk about some that you did talk about. Both the Demons movies. I think particularly the first one is a great Halloween night viewing film. Actually, this was at the top of my stack. I've got the Arrow Steelbook that's got Demons and Demons 2.
I think it's the same one I have.
Yeah, and both of them are great.
And those are region free, aren't they? Or they're region locked. I can't remember.
No, these are region locked.
They are, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, those are both fantastic. Love those movies, especially the first one. The first one's just so good. It's so good.
The second one's a little more cheesy, but
Yeah.
Sometimes I like that.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. Yeah. Let's see what. Oh gosh, I forgot. There was one you mentioned that I totally forgot.
Not Ghoulies.
Which one did Jim Wynorski direct? Was it Ghoulies 4?
Maybe.
Okay.
Is that right? Okay.
And then you left a Wynorski flick off your list?
Yeah, 4 is not any good. Critters 4 is not any good either.
But you definitely had a solid list. I love Demon Knight. You can't go wrong with Demon Knight. Love that movie. Great soundtrack. Billy Zane. Awesome stuff. That one's got a really good cast in it too. Like Dick Smith is in there, and
Jada Pinkett Smith is in there.
Yeah. What's the dude? He was in Sideways.
Thomas Hayden Church.
The
Sandman.
The Sandman. There you go. Yeah. Geez, what were some of the ones you mentioned after?
Night of the Demons. I know you're a fan of that one too.
Oh yeah, of course. Love Night of the Demons. I also like Night of the Demons 2 too. I don't recall Night of the Demons 3. I've seen it. I don't recall liking it. But I like the sequel too.
One of them has the blonde girl from Hey Dude, Ben Stiller's wife.
That's part 2. That's part 2.
Yeah,
that's part 2.
Yeah, that one's solid.
Yeah. I do.
And they all have the same girl playing.
Amelia Kincaid. Amelia Kincaid. She is now a pet psychic.
Yeah,
okay.
She's
cool.
She's now a pet psychic.
She's out there. But you can buy autographs from her website.
You mentioned Midnight Meat Train. That's another one I think is really underrated. That's one of those that just came and went so quick, and like nobody ever talks about it. But yeah, good stuff. Definitely good stuff. We'll come around if you've got any more on your list, Stingray. We'll come around.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've got some older stuff and some newer stuff as well. I didn't really want to hit any, I don't know, too mainstream. So,
okay. Well, we'll come back around. That was a good list. That was definitely a good list. Jason Lima, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well tonight. Rocky Voorhees, how are you? XVE01 or XV01. XVE01. How are you doing tonight, buddy? I have seen Terrifier. I thought it was not bad. Let's see, Lauren. What do you got for us, man?
Hey, I got 5 titles.
Well, go for it.
Yeah, so we're going to start off with what I consider to be the scariest film of all time that no one ever talks about. It's The Haunting of Julia, based on a Peter Straub novel, 1977 with Mia Farrow. It has an amazing score by Colin Towns, which should be remembered in the same breath as Halloween or Phantasm. But again, the movie is very difficult to find, in America especially. In Britain, under the title Full Circle, it's a little bit easier. So you might think about importing a copy. It's a ghost story, but it's also a psychological thriller at the same time. It's one of the bleakest movies you can imagine. It plays on just about every parental fear you can imagine. It is awesome, and it's legitimately scary, which is, I'll be honest, the number of films that have really scared me can probably be counted on both my hands. This is the real deal. Now, you don't watch it with friends, and you don't watch it when it's light outside. You want to give the movie the chance to work its magic, but it is an amazing film. And it's funny, I just actually found the score on vinyl at a record store down here where my work has me lodged. And I ended up paying way too much for it, but it's the music is half the film, as most great scary films are.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge fan of classic horror, golden age, mostly the 30s. The Bride of Franken-Stein is actually my favorite film of all time. But obviously I wouldn't choose that for an underrated list. 1945's Captive Wild Woman with John Carradine, Evelyn Ankers, and Aquanetta in the title role is just this wonderfully goofy, like completely under the radar Universal monster film. I kind of hate the fact that Universal just released a quote unquote or are about to release a quote unquote complete collection, which is missing over 25 titles. And this is a key one. This is not only a great film, if you like the goofier side of what Universal was doing, like the later Mummy movies would be an example. But it actually was a franchise. There was 3 films in the series. Aquanetta's in the first 2. I love it. It has some amazing circus footage that was recycled from the Clyde Beatty Circus. It's just a great watch, and it has aged really well. So I really recommend it. Universal does have it out as a part of their burn-on-demand discs that you can buy right from their website, but it isn't commercially available just on a store shelf. On the other side of the coin, 2004's The Hazing, also known as Dead Scared in Britain. This is a Brad Dourif film that, again, is under the radar. Also has Tiffany Shepis in it.
I've seen it.
It's amazing, and no one talks about it. It's incredibly fun. It's not scary at all, but it's an incredibly fun, upbeat film. It has a great style to it, and it feels like it's about 10 minutes long because it's so fun, but it is a full hour and a half. It just flies by. Dialogue that's instantly quotable once you get to really love the film.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it. I need to rewatch it, but I remember it being pretty good.
Only available on DVD. Never got an upgrade of any sort, and probably never will. Ghost Watch from 1992. This was a British television production.
Good choice.
Yeah, so this has a great history to it. This went on the air looking like a regular news broadcast using real British newscasters, and proceeded to be an investigation of a haunted house. And the film has a fake veneer of being a real broadcast. It doesn't really break from that. During the broadcast, they did roll in a scroll on the bottom of the screen, which you won't find in later video releases of it, saying that it was fake. But it apparently freaked people out pretty damn bad. 30,000 calls went into the BBC switchboard from people concerned about what they were watching. It's genuinely scary in its last half hour. When you do actually see the ghost very briefly at the end, is one of the most startling jump scares, but a good jump scare because the characters are actually in peril. It's not a cat jumping out of a closet. I really recommend it if you can find it. There are DVDs out there of it.
It
was on Shudder.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
is it on Shudder?
Yeah, it was on Shudder because I watched it within the last 6 months, and it's kind of weird. It's a weird thing. If you don't know what it is going into it, I hated like the first half of the movie because it would just seem lame, right? But then after the movie was over, and I did a little research. I freaking loved it. I mean, it's a great watch. It's a good movie. And
there's a very horrible within the last 5 years quasi remake of it called the WNUF Halloween special. Don't go near it. Don't, just stick with Ghost Watch. And my final thing is also a TV movie, but from America. Don't Go to Sleep from 1982. Valerie Harper and Dennis Weaver, 2 extraordinarily mainstream television stars at the time. I saw this in 82. I was 9 years old, sat down, and it's an incredibly effective ghost story. It's scary, like a lot of the ABC television movies of the time, such as Don't Be Afraid of the Dark or Dark Night of the Scarecrows was. But I think it actually is the superior piece simply because the ending just haunts you endlessly. Again, that was one of the few things that ever really scared me as a kid, and I got a hold of a VHS copy that someone had ported over onto a DVD-R just a few years ago, and it doesn't completely hold up, but I think if you haven't seen it, you'll still get a lot of value out of it as a legitimately scary film.
Very cool.
And that's my list.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch Ghost Watch and The Haunting of Julia or Full Circle. Jacob McCullum in the chat actually says the documentary about Ghost Watch is excellent as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know there was one.
I didn't see it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
Very nice list. Very, very nice list. Some of those I'm going to add over to my
Yeah,
to
I'm
watch.
making my list as well.
Yeah, for sure.
As you guys are talking, I'm making my list of stuff I'm going to watch.
Yeah, that my list was not prepared either. By the way, I wrote it as you guys were talking.
Nice. Well, Orc, what's up with you, man? What do you got for us? And Grave Encounters better not be on that list.
Grave Encounters 1 and 2.
Uh,
I got a fucking dank list. We're gonna go all over the fucking world, and it's round, you dumb fucks and cucks. All right, here we go. We're gonna start off in Japan. Konnichiwa. Pulse. Everyone knows about it. Good movie. Watch it. My favorite and most shocking movie. You said yours is from the 70s. One of those films was the one with Mia Farrow. That's like 76, 77, around there. That film for me is Shudder, the Thailand version. Nothing even comes close. It shits on Pulse. Every way, shape, and form, in my opinion. Anatomy from Germany. Amazing film. Them, The Strangers, If You Do It Right, from France.
Yeah, I almost
Ginger Snaps. It's well known, but Canadian movie. I love it. It's a fun movie. I love it.
That's not mainstream. I think that fits.
Yeah.
And then from America, I mean, Pumpkinhead's well known, but I had another one in mind, but I forgot though what it was. Shit.
You didn't make a list?
No, I didn't make a list.
I thought you were
I got 3
professional.
platforms. I'm in a marathon COD. You know, I'm getting fuck this Fortnite shit. We're going back to basics. All right. Call of Duty 20. That's what we're doing here.
I thought you were a professional, Orc.
Hey, man, I like your window shade, but do you have a ceiling fan we can look at?
No, I just got.
Let me look at your smoke detector for a bit.
Yeah. I got.
Those are some inside jokes Christian and Lauren aren't inside.
All right, well, it's not McDonald's, but you know, like it.
What flavor is that?
Oh,
half baked. Way to go, man.
That explains his posture. He's half baked.
Yeah. Sounds like he's been mainlining H over there.
We need the movie or weed. You just fucking eat a bunch of that shit. So yeah, the diet's going well, but fuck, what kind of movie are you thinking about from America? Shit, there's so many that fly under the radar because there's so many that like go straight to video. Fuck, god damn it. You recommended me one that was really, really good. I can't remember what it was though. All right, I'm blanking, but the first Wreck is good. Everyone's seen that though, and Scream Factory just fucking, you know, stole everybody's money with that box set. So the first 2 are really good. Fuck, but yeah, for America, I guess. I mean, if we're doing Pumpkinhead and Trick or Treat, the one not with Ozzy, but everyone's seen those.
Okay.
Not with Ozzy.
The one
with Ozzy's recommended for a laugh. I mean,
I love that film.
Yeah,
I love the soundtrack.
Movie. Yeah, great movie. Orc, Them was actually almost on my list. That's a really good movie. Them is very, very good.
It is. That's also on Shudder.
Yeah, very, very good movie. And I really like the Pulse was the Asian version of Pulse is really good. I've not seen Shudder. But Pulse was
a movie. Good. Everyone watches Pulse and Ju-on and Ringu. Shudder is the best out of all of them.
Shudder's on Netflix right now.
The Pulse, the Asian version of Pulse is so good. And then when you watch the American version, it's like the Asian version of Pulse is just so freaking good. The atmosphere in that, it's so dread filled and bleak and just but it's so good. So good. So good.
Here's one. Sorry, go ahead.
A few years before the Japanese explosion, there was a small film called Shikaku, which doesn't have an American title, which is recommended if you like Shudder and Pulse. I mean, it's definitely a great underrated film.
Is that Japanese?
It is.
I'll say for the best new wave horror director, well, the only good one that's currently working, in my opinion. You got Wan and you got Carpenter. Let's go with Dead Silence, even though that's pretty popular too.
Damn it.
But
that was on my list.
It's a good one, man. It's a
good one. Almost made my list.
Yeah. But yeah, that's because like the anything that's related to Insidious or The Conjuring, a lot of people have seen all those, but yeah, Dead Silence was one that the YouTube movie community talked about a lot, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. It doesn't look like much, and then you got the Funky Bunch on there, and it's great. So yeah.
Pretty good picks there, Orc. Pretty solid picks. Red Band Cast mentions Jack's Back. Jack's Back would have normally been on my list, but I've talked about it so much, I decided to leave it off. But I love Jack's Back. Definitely love Jack's Back.
You do talk about Jack's Back quite a bit.
I know. I do like Jack's Back. It deserves to be seen. Damn it, deserves to be seen. Let's see, Eric, what have you got for us, man?
So, I think so far. Well, again, I think Orc did cover off on more modern stuff, but there's been a lot of like historical things. So I have a list that covers kind of like newer stuff and older stuff, but I'll focus on the newer stuff. I was kind of just thinking about the sort of things that I gravitate to during like Halloween month, and if you set aside the major things like Halloween and Friday the 13th, it's like what are the sorts of things that either scare me or are just kind of entertaining for the same reasons those are. So, I very much like You're Next. I think that's Adam Weingart's film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's not even really that good of a movie, I don't think. But like, I just really like it. It has a good, it's kind of creepy. I like sort of the way that it subverts expectations by, making quote unquote the final girl like kind of a secret badass. I thought that's interesting. I just like that movie. And again, some of it's the music too. Like I remembered looking up that song. I should have looked it up so that I could mention the name. But there's like a song that repeats that whole movie long, and I think that's cool. The Strangers. I think that's a divisive one. I'm not sure everyone here likes it, but I always dug The Strangers. I'm talking about the first one too, by the way, not the sequel. But I thought The Strangers was pretty compelling. And to be honest, I kind of like it for the same reason that I kind of like the original Halloween, and that even like the makers of the new sequel kind of are pointing to as why that movie's so effective is that like Michael Myers is just a sort of random killer who just sort of sees Laurie at his house and then just is fixated on her the rest of the time. The Strangers isn't exactly that, but it's still just this idea of this like random crime, like random terror, which I just think is pretty cool, and I dug that movie. Sinister I added to the list, and again, that might be a divisive one. I don't know if everybody liked it, but I dug it. I thought that movie was pretty effective. I never did see any of the sequels, so I can't speak to. I think there's just one sequel, but I don't know if that's any good. But those are more kind of like in the scary thriller vibe. I added Cabin in the Woods to my list as kind of more of a like comedy horror kind of a thing. That's very much like that movie. I did too. When it first came out, like I remember seeing some people writing some things about it, like, "Oh man, there's a twist," and I just never. It was a happy surprise for me for whatever reason. I just never like really looked into it. So when I started watching the movie, and I know I won't spoil it here, but like when I started watching the movie and like you sort of see the twist of what's happening, I was just really pleasantly surprised. And I'm just a big Joss Whedon fan too, so it didn't surprise me that he sort of subverted my expectations.
It's one that people are always really divided on.
Yeah, and it's just I think because I'm a Whedon fan, like any doubt I might have about the movie, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch, but it to be honest, it just sort of feels like an episode, like a feature length episode of Buffy or something. Like even the way the characters talk,
well, even the comedy, the humor,
yeah. And was it Bradley Whitford? Like that actor, I like him in anything. Like he just has that like sardonic kind of comedic quality.
Those two characters made the movie for me. I like it too.
Yeah.
But him and the other guy, they're cracking me up.
Yeah. It's just again, that's kind of like if you're looking to laugh on Halloween, you can get some scares out of that movie, but also it's kind of a good time.
Yeah. Well, the end of it is like a horror fan's wet dream. I mean, you've got like everything, great crazy. You've got like bootleg, Hellraiser and bootleg Jason in there.
Yeah.
I want to go rewatch that. I'm a Roy Burns. I waved the Friday the 13th flag high and the Halloween 3, but for some reason, that was the only time I've ever felt ripped off. And I don't know why. I saw it back in the day.
Yeah.
I need to see it again, but I don't know what it was. But that was the only time I've ever felt ripped off for some reason. And I was probably just, maybe I was in a pissy mood that day, but I need to go watch that again. It was, I mean, I saw it right when it came out, but I'm typically not like that. I usually like crazy twist the way that one had. So
yeah,
I put that on the list. I'm gonna rewatch it.
Oh, and then behind the scenes, this is in our personal chat, but Jay, I was actually trying to remember the name of that movie, Jay. The Guest, another Adam Wingard movie. That one I don't know is strictly horror, but that's I actually really like that movie.
Yeah.
Like that's another great movie. Was it Dan Stevens? Like I like that guy. Like he's just he's a good kind of effective actor and creepy. I think he stars on Legion on FX.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's like Professor X's son or something. But yeah, that was another movie. I tried to think of it, but I don't know if that's strictly horror. Keeping it in sort of the modern realm, I have again another divisive choice, but I dug it. It Follows would be kind of on there, and if to be honest, it's one of those movies where just from a music standpoint, I just dug it. I know that like there are some plot holes and like some of the rules are applied inconsistently about like the monster of the movie, but again, I just dug it. I thought it was a pretty cool movie. Also a fan of The Last Exorcism, and I don't know whether you guys know what that one is. If you remember that one, it's
I saw it.
Yeah. Camera crew, right?
It's like one of those found footage type movies.
Theater.
That's my wheelhouse. Yeah.
I know. I saw you guys watching Paranormal Activity. I should have jumped on. I really like the Paranormal Activity movies. That definitely is mainstream now.
We have 4 more to go, so you're welcome.
No, 20 more before the month ends, so don't worry.
Yeah. But The Last Exorcism, to be honest, that one surprised me. Like I actually didn't expect I would like it very much. I think I just sort of turned it on a lark, and I remember really digging it. I thought it. I don't know that it ever sort of jumped out and scared me like in any big serious way. Kind of like again, Paranormal Activity really gets under my skin. Like, and again, maybe call me a wuss, but those movies freak me out sometimes. I don't think The Last Exorcism ever did that, but it definitely gave me kind of a feeling of dread, and I thought the end was really great, like kind of shocking. So I dig that movie. And then another one, which I've never really had the chance to get into too much detail on here about, but I think would be a great Halloween choice. Not a traditional Halloween choice, but I think it qualifies. Bone Tomahawk. Yeah. That movie, I heard such great things about it for so long, and when I finally saw it, like, I'll be honest, I'm not even so sure I would rush out to go and watch it again. As good as it is, it's really kind of grisly.
It's hard to watch.
It is, but it's like just the cast in that movie is fantastic. I mean, Kurt Russell's awesome. For some reason I can't think of his name, but Jack from Lost, he's in it. There's just some good folks are in that movie. So those are again. I have others on my list, but I'll pause it there and let some other people weigh in. But those are like 2000 to 2010 era movies that I think, if you're looking to kind of shake things up on Halloween, those you do a good job.
Did you see Brawl and Cell Block 99 yet?
I did not.
Same director as Bone Tomahawk, Vince Vaughn. It's pretty awesome.
Was that the one where like Vince Vaughn's like his head shaved? That movie?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay.
I mean, it's not very realistic at all, but it's a very good movie.
Okay.
I really liked Cabin in the Woods, by the way. I saw it in the theater when it first came out. I really like it. Same thing with The Strangers. I saw The Strangers in the theater and I really liked it. I don't know if I've seen it since. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of it on TV, but I don't know if I've seen it in its entirety since. But I do remember liking it. And I thought that just the randomness of it, it's like, why are you guys doing this to us? Because you were home.
I love that. Like that line makes the movie for me.
Yeah.
I have such good memories of that movie too, because I remember watching it with my then girlfriend, or she's my wife now, but she was my girlfriend then, and like she's never liked horror movies, but God love her, she watches them with me. And so I always get a kick out of seeing her scared. And I remember after that movie was over, I went into the dining room and I pretended like I was getting something, but then I didn't make any noise for a while. And I just went, And I don't know. That scared the shit out of her. She was mad
That's
at me.
awesome.
It's funny. And the sequel is actually not bad. I watched the sequel not long ago. It's not bad.
Okay,
I
I'll
heard
have to
mixed
check it out.
things. I wasn't sure what to think
I mean,
of it.
it's not. It's really more of like just a slasher movie, really.
Okay.
But that's not. I mean, it's better than I thought it was going to be, and I went into it with not really low expectations, but just not expecting much at all, and it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yes, if I could comment, like when I watched Strangers Pray at Night, I thought they took more the right approach. I figured, like, if I was gonna, not that I could direct my way out of a paper bag, but if I was gonna direct a movie like a sequel, I would say, okay, everybody's seen The Strangers, so the fear and the mystique of them is gone. Let's just make a slasher movie. I felt they kind of went in the right, because obviously when I watched it, I wasn't gonna have the same feeling of the first one, regardless. That's why Freddy eventually started making jokes in the movie. But I thought they took the pretty good approach, and visually it was really good. So I enjoyed the hell out of it myself.
Yeah.
But the first one's phenomenal. I think the first one aged pretty well too for being 10 years old.
I thought that the guy who actually directed the first one was going to do the sequel, and I guess his sequel never happened, and this other one did. So,
And I think, yeah, I remember that, because wasn't his sequel actually going to have Liv Tyler, or at least in some capacity?
I don't remember, to be honest. I know he was doing a sequel, or he was going to do a sequel, but then it never materialized, and then this one happened.
I feel like if you're one of those people that likes to talk to the screen and be like, "Why are you doing that? That's stupid." Strangers Pray at Night's the perfect movie for you to watch, because it's like worst case scenario, they do the dumbest thing. Like the first thing they do, they all leave their cell phones in this trailer.
Now that
It's like, okay.
yeah, that part, because I was like, I actually said to myself out loud, I was like, I don't remember the last time. If I go to the bathroom, I take my cell phone with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's never a time where like my cell phone is more than a foot away from me.
But that's the world we live in now, where you have to immediately nip that in the bud, because
Exactly.
just be like 911. Okay,
Yeah.
we got a problem.
Cell phones have kind of really ruined horror, or like they've made horror more challenging. Like you have to come up with an excuse why they can't call for help or something like that.
I can't get a signal in here.
Right.
It's like it would have been more realistic if it just showed like the strangers cutting down the cell phone tower instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I have a few comments on Bruce's list.
This is the conversation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lauren.
This conversation about cell phones is something that I have with my writing friends all the time.
Yeah.
Because it is a huge deal, and there's two real solutions to the problem, and that are out there. And one is just ignore it, never show a cell phone, never put a cell phone on the page. Then it sounds strange, but you know what? In 20 years, who knows where the technology will be? It's going to look outdated anyway. And the other idea is the bigger one, which is that make it the terror, the situation, the conflict, something that a telephone call can't fix.
Yeah.
Something that if cops show up, it's not going to matter.
Right.
Either for time reasons or it's just too big a threat. But it's a real problem in the genre. That's why you're seeing so many things set in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier. Yeah, for sure.
Or do like It Follows and just be really fucking weird and give this girl like a weird like tablet BlackBerry.
Yeah,
what a great premise for a movie. I want to say three things real quick. Last Exorcism is one of the greatest found footage horror movies ever, in my opinion. The second one sucks balls. Avoid it like the fucking plague.
Wait,
if you want a good double feature.
Yeah, but I don't think it's found footage, is it? If memory serves.
Oh yeah. Well, the second one sucks. Anyways,
How do
you want to get
back?
double feature? I'd watch them and The Strangers. They're both really good. And then I'd put It Follows in your top 5 for Halloween. That movie's amazing. What an amazing premise for a movie.
I was gonna put It Follows on my list, and then I decided not to. I mean that's one of my. I think that's one of the best horror movies that we've had the past 5 or 6 years. It's one of the best.
Did anyone? Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. I agree with Piz. Like horror is hard to come by these days. Even though I put together a list I like a lot, I don't know that any one of those films is like iconic the way that you know, the movie, you know, when you Friday the 13th and Halloween, like none of those things really stand out to me. You could argue that the Saw franchise got that way, and I actually, even though the Saw franchise got to be pretty big, I actually had the original Saw on my list just because I think people forget how good the first one is. Like they think about all the shitty sequels and how it just became torture porn. But sorry, I'm going off point. Like, yeah, It Follows to me just is a really striking horror film. Like, I thought it kind of rejuvenated things in the genre.
Well, you're gonna have people say it's not scary,
right?
No.
Well, I'm not sure horror always needs to be like jump out and terrify you. Sometimes it can just be a sense of dread. It can be suspense.
No, I think it is. I think it's very suspenseful.
Yeah. They're like, dude, it's a shark. I'm like, fuck, you're stupid. Just.
Oh yeah. But I've heard people say Jaws is stupid. Like a lot of people say that lately. I don't know why.
I don't even know.
Out of your mind, man.
Here's the impact of Jaws on me. I was on vacation not long ago. I was swimming in the ocean, and I swear to God, like every now and again, I'd kind of go, okay, let me look around, make sure there's no shadows under me. You know, like literally, it crossed my mind. I don't know how many times. Am I in deep enough water that I could be attacked by a shark? That's Jaws.
Yeah.
I'm still like that, and I'm very apprehensive in the ocean.
Yeah. At one point, the lifeguard actually grabbed his bullhorn and started yelling into the bullhorn, and I freeze, and I'm the only word that I'm trying to focus is if he said shark. He could have said anything else.
Oh man.
I've been like whatever, jellyfish, stingray, barracuda. Whatever, but if he'd said shark or anything that sounded remotely close to shark, I was going to get the hell out of there.
He screamed barracuda. You say, huh? What?
Exactly.
You got a panic on your hands on the 4th of July.
Exactly. And actually, there was a barracuda in the water that day.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody cared.
A problem? The barracudas attack people?
They can. Yep, they can.
If you have anything shiny on you that they might mistake as a fish gill, they will attack you, but they're not really aggressive. But they can and they've got a mean bite. So if they mistake you for food, that's a pretty damaging attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught a king mackerel one time. Barracuda bit that thing slap in half.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, barracuda.
Hey guys, before I forget real quick, if y'all don't mind, when y'all were talking about The Last Exorcism, it made me think of a movie I recently saw. Once again, I don't go to the theaters often, so I always pick movies up on Blu-ray or DVD, whatever, that had an impact on me. And my wife tells me all the time, Christian, that the movie was not scary at all. But the performance of that woman it was the M. Night Shyamalan Visit. I think it was The Visit.
The Visit.
Yeah. That woman in that movie haunts me when I sit down and think about it. Her performance was so good, it scared the hell out of me.
That is a great movie that people shit on, and I have no idea why.
Well, Rambo Rat's not on here tonight, so yeah, we can talk about it.
I really liked The Visit. I thought it was a good M. Night movie. Signs is still my favorite, but I just thought that movie was phenomenal.
I liked it too.
Thank you. I love Signs. Every time I say that, people shit on me. I like that movie a lot too.
Eric, I'm a double or nothing on you, Eric. Not only do I like Signs, I think that's one of Mel Gibson's best performances. I just love him in that movie. He's just a normal guy. He's just very. I liked everybody in that movie.
So when we were talking about shows for the season, one of the things that we talked about is like a concept, and I still don't think we ever fully arrived on like what we were going to call it, but is like imperfect movies, but that like have some really strong element. First off, I really like Signs, so I wouldn't necessarily call it an imperfect movie. But if I were, what I would highlight about Signs is Mel Gibson's performance. Like, he gives an amazing performance in that movie, like better than that movie deserves, really. I think it's one of those situations.
You know what? You know why, Bruce?
Do
you know why you like it so much?
I hear you. I'm waiting for you to drop the hammer on this wisdom you're about to give me.
Swing for the fences. Okay.
I'm gonna tell y'all this, man.
Swing away.
I was a little kid. I was in the theater, and when Mel Gibson is looking at the swing away guy, I forget his name, and he looks at him and he goes, the God part where he goes, "We are all alone." That got to me. Like that was like as a kid, you just want to think everything you cover. I was raised believing in God and everything. And I don't want to get into that per se, but when Poe says we are all alone, that affected me in the theater. I never felt so scared in my life when he said that. I believed it. It scared me. So that's what I'm getting at for performance. Like I felt that part in that movie. So I just loved it. I think
the score for Signs is very, very fucking good too.
Yeah.
Little fucking alien dudes running around in your cornfield. Fuck that. We've all driven through like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kansas, Nebraska. Like it's either fucking little kids or little alien dudes who are afraid of water. It's like you throw water on all of them, they all fucking die.
About cornfields up here in Michigan too. So it's either Signs or it's Children of the Corn. I'd much rather be Children of the Corn because I could whip Malachi's ass.
I liked Signs. I can't follow you on The Visit. I liked Signs though.
The diaper though, that diaper, Biz, man.
That diaper.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Her performance to me just got to me.
Her performance was creepy. She was creepy. I'll give you that.
It's so good. It's so good, man.
I'm a weird guy. Some stuff won't get me at all. Like Hereditary, I just loved it. When I watched it, it didn't scare me, but I loved it. But dude, The Visit, that old bitch, she scared the hell out.
When you're chasing them underneath the house, it's on the it's up with me. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know if it has to do with it being a young kids they're doing the filming, and where in Hereditary it's that older boy. I don't know. I don't know if that's it adds effect with being the young kids doing the camera work. I don't know, dude. I can't watch the video.
No, because they get off the train and you're like, oh, it's their grandparents, and this is gonna be a great time spending time with their grandparents, and then you're like, oh, once the twist ending comes at the end, you're like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, the grandma was creepy. The thing under the house was creepy, but yeah, the rest of the movie I wasn't a fan of.
Because you just don't know what a good movie is. Grave Encounters 2, watch it, fucking noob.
Yeah, right? No, not gonna do that.
Back to Signs. I love the part when the alien's trapped like in the cupboard.
Yeah,
because it like doesn't really even show it. I think it may show a finger or something.
Well, like its hand like reaches under the door or something.
It's so effective though.
No music, just straight silence. Yeah, great stuff. I think that was where M. Night was at his peak, personally.
I mean, I'm looking forward to
really good movies. And even M. Night acted good in that small part, but he did good in that movie,
Yeah, kind of. I never like his appearances in his own movies.
I don't either, but I didn't mind that.
Out of it a little bit.
And I'm looking forward to the crossover with Unbreakable.
Oh yeah.
So that should be cool.
You mean Glass?
Yeah.
While we're on Aliens, this came out in the theater, but it doesn't get talked about at all anymore. It's The Fourth Kind. I really like that movie. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, that's another one that came out recently.
And I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to bed tonight. And I went to bed when it was on. I was like, yep.
Well, let me give my list out here. I've got 2 serious movies, and then I've got a bunch of sleaze. So you guys can have a sleazy Halloween. All right, the two more serious movies. The Mutilator. I actually pulled these off the shelf. Love me some Mutilator. Great 80s slasher movie that was very obscure until recently. Arrow released a great review of it. Buddy
great
Cooper
box art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, iconic artwork for this one. Buddy Cooper, the writer director, really nice guy. Really
Fall
good.
Fall Break.
Fall Break. But definitely dig the Mutilator, and it's really well made considering that Buddy Cooper, this was like his first movie. He just didn't really know what he was doing, and it turned out really well. And it's actually kind of a sweet story because like the whole town kind of got behind him. They knew his dream was to make a movie, and like the entire town just jumped in and helped out and worked for free and helped him make the movie. It was it's pretty cool. But
by the way, if you haven't seen that movie yet, that's a great release. I have that as well. The transfer, the sound, the picture, and then there's a few really good features on that Arrow Blu-ray.
Yeah, really nice. And Fall Break, the reverse of the sleeve. Very nice release. Very good movie.
There was this guy one time. His name was Endurance Productions, and I think he fell off the face of the earth. But he did a bunch of cool sites. Visited the filming locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you want to go check those out.
And Buddy actually saw my review of the movie in this Blu-ray release, and he sent me like 4 posters signed.
That's awesome.
He sent me like 2 Mutilator posters and like a Fall Break poster. But what's weird about them is that they're not standard movie poster size. So I've got to I would have to buy or have them make a frame or fold it up, which I'm not going to fold it up.
They're smaller or larger?
No, they're bigger than the standard movie poster size, like the Halloween, whatever the dimensions are of it, something by 24 by 47 or something like that.
27 by 41.
27 by 41. Yeah. This one, his, I think, is like 27 by 44, something like that.
Are they original?
Original. Yep.
I was going to say, you can put them up, but nah, if they're original, don't do it.
You gotta hang up that Fall Break, man. That's awesome.
It's really, they're really cool, and they're super thin. You know what I mean? They're like,
oh yeah,
clearly they're originals. Yeah. So that was really nice of them.
Yeah, that's what someone was saying before that movie really, hit the big screen and people found out about it. He just had a garage full of these posters from that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was signing them and handing them out to everybody that wanted one for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, really good movie. If you're a slasher movie fan, by all means, check it out. Look into getting the Blu-ray from Arrow. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. The other more serious movie, it's I love Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan's directed. I don't think Mike Flanagan's made a bad movie yet. Oculus, the one, oh my God, what was it? Hush was really good. And then he most recently directed Gerald's Game, which I thought was really good. This was the very first movie that he directed. The cover art is absolutely horrendous. I passed on the movie on Netflix, I don't know how many times, just because the cover art looked so generic. I finally watched it and I was blown away. It's Absentia.
Yeah, and there's some crappy cover art.
This cover art's actually on like 10, 15 different movie releases. Literally, this cover art of this woman being dragged. And the cover, I mean, it's ridiculous cover art. Great movie. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but totally worth checking out. Don't want to say anything really about it other than watch it. It's really freaking good.
Yeah, he did the Annabelle sequel.
Yeah.
And he also did, what else did he do?
The Ouija sequel.
Ouija sequel, and those are both really good.
No, he didn't do the Annabelle sequel. He did the Ouija sequel. I forget who did the Annabelle sequel.
I think he may have.
I don't think he did, but the Annabelle sequel is better than the first Annabelle by far.
Ouija.
Yeah, he did do the Ouija sequel, which was better than the first one by far.
I was actually going to watch Gerald's Game the other night, and I was watching the trailer. I was like, man, how can I watch a movie? This lady's just like tied to a bed the entire movie. But I guess it's pretty good.
It is. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check it out.
I saw that. That was all right.
And if you can track down the DVD of Absentia, it's probably, I mean, I bought this super cheap, so it's definitely worth it. Very good movie. Very good movie. Let's get into some sleaze, shall we?
Let's do it.
I actually just found. Okay.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Let's get into some good sleaze here. How about Slumber Party Massacre?
Ooh.
How about
that's a good one.
How about any of the Slumber Party Massacre movies? To be honest, 1, 2, or 3.
I've told you guys this before, but one of the ways I first, you guys really hooked me on the Sausage Factory before I became, very blessedly a part of the show, was your one show where you kind of did what are the other 80s horror movies that were not Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street. And you talked about stuff like The Burning, which, by the way, is one of my 80s things on the list. But this was one of those movies. And so I went out and found The Burning, and I found this movie, and I really dug it. It's totally sleazy. You're very right. But this is a really great choice for a Halloween, this concept of the show. If on Halloween you're looking to get into some kind of, old school schlocky horror, oh man, this should be at the top of your list.
That guy, the killer, has the longest power cord in movie history. I swear to God.
Yeah.
The killer, I mean, it could not get sleazier, which is odd because this movie was written and directed by feminists. The woman who wrote it was actually a feminist author. What was her name? Rita Mae Jones. She wrote it as a satire to Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, or not Nightmare on Elm Street, but like slasher movies.
Yeah.
Gave it to Roger Corman. Roger Corman goes, "This is brilliant," and he filmed it not as a satire.
That's funny.
So that's how it happened. That you've got half naked women being chased by an insane man who's killing them with a large power drill. You cannot get more phallic than that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
The sequel it features a demon ghost guy. He looks like Elvis. He's killing these women with a drill, a guitar. It's a guitar with a drill.
I think part 2 may be my favorite.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Doesn't part 2 star a couple of Friday the 13th alums?
It does.
Crystal Bernard.
It stars
from Wings. Are you a fan of Wings?
It's got the chick from part 7 who's
Helen Hackett.
It's got the chick from part 7 who gets killed skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got her in it. And the third one I think is really cool too. Although the third one kind of gets dark because the killer is like the product of he was molested by his uncle and that sent him off the edge. And
oh God,
but it's like super sleazy. Then the killer's like, I was molested by my uncle, and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But I love all three of them. Super sleazy, tons of TNA. What you would expect from this kind of. What's that?
Total nonstop action?
Exactly. Yes. Total nonstop action. Yeah. Total nonstop action. That's what I mean by that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't go wrong with any of the Sleep or Slumber Party Massacre movies. I say start with the first. This series could be your own. Could be the whole Halloween night marathon. So
it ain't easy.
It's not. It's not.
It's always fun to see 30-year-old women act like they're 17, 18 years old and having slumber parties like women do that.
And it's also the kind of movie. It opens with the girls are playing basketball. So of course, what are they going to do after they play basketball? Got to take a shower.
Yep.
The basketball action lasts about 1 minute. The shower sequence is about 5 minutes. So
there you go.
Right here. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with it. Let's keep the sleaze going. Oh crap! I grabbed the wrong one. Daggone it. Darn. This is Sorority House Massacre. I meant to grab Sorority House Massacre 2. Sorority House Massacre 2, written and directed by the legendary Jim Wynorski. It could be a sequel to Slumber Party Massacre because all of the flashbacks are to Slumber Party Massacre, even though this is Sorority House Massacre 2. It's crazy. It's even sleazier. Sorority House Massacre 2 is 10 times sleazier than all three of these movies put together. You're talking about extended shower sequences in which Jim Wynorski has put the sounds of squeeze toys on the soundtrack when the women are washing themselves. It's glorious. It's absolutely glorious. It's so fun. It's so schlocky. It's so sleazy. It's everything that you could want in a movie. I don't know. Sorority House Massacre is it's like a Halloween ripoff that's not very sleazy or schlocky. That's why they don't reference it in the sequel. But yeah, I grabbed this one instead of watch Sorority House Massacre 2. Much better. And after you watch Sorority House Massacre 2, watch Hard to Die. Also written and directed by the legendary Jim Wynorski. This is basically the exact same movie as Sorority House Massacre 2, only it takes place in a apartment building type. It's like a big, huge building. It's like a big mall or something actually.
Do these all star Shannon Tweed?
No Shannon Tweeds. No Shannon Tweed. But yeah, it's basically the exact same movie as Sorority House Massacre 2, just a different setting. But just as sleazy, just as fun. Of Great stuff. And this one's far more action oriented. Just imagine this: women in various states of undress firing machine guns at each other.
I was already on board. You don't have to convince me anymore.
Yeah. I was looking at. I pulled it up on IMDb and I recognized one of the names, Melissa Moore, and I clicked through and now I know, like, she's one of the women in Samurai Cop.
Oh, jeez.
So this is the level of the level we're at here. Okay.
Yeah, just great stuff. Great stuff. This one not so much sleazy, but I just found out today that Vinegar Syndrome is releasing this one on Blu-ray. This is a late 80s slasher movie that's just beyond silly. It's Cutting Class, starring Brad Pitt.
Whoa.
It's actually got a really good cast in it. I mean, you've got Jill Sholin, you've got Roddy McDowall, you've got Martin Bull, you've got Donovan Leitch, who's actually the guy in the Blob that gets the thing falls on him and pulls him back. Yeah. Good cast, dumb, silly slasher movie. Definitely one that you watch with a couple of beers and you just laugh your tail off at. But Vinegar Syndrome's putting it out on like a 4K Blu-ray, for God's sake. So I mean, good God.
Did they get Brad Pitt's approval?
I think they've got a commentary lined up with him and an interview.
Really?
Hey Piz, I'm really enjoying this. Can you just take your sleaze shelf and just for the next 6 hours, just fucking do what you're doing right now?
Just talk about.
I'm a noob. I need help. So yeah.
Well, yes.
Hold that disc up again. It looks like he's like the star of the movie.
He is the star of the movie.
Is he? Okay.
Well, really, I mean, him and Jill Sholin from The Stepfather. Right. They're the leads.
Okay, I was thinking he didn't have a very big part in there.
No,
it's been a while since I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, he's the lead. His acting is horrible, but it's priceless. It's priceless. Good stuff.
What's in the box?
Definitely good stuff. Love Cutting Class. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I see a lot of people out there wanting me to mention Slugs. I did not put Slugs on my list because I've talked about Slugs quite a bit, but Slugs would be a great Halloween night movie too.
They mentioned a Jim Wynorski film festival. That would be awesome.
And you know what? I've talked to Jim Wynorski on Facebook more than once. He would probably do it. If we did a Jim Wynorski retrospective, he'd be on here talking about the movies with us. So,
didn't he become like a softcore guy, like exclusively?
I don't think he ever stopped being a softcore. Wow. He started and it's still doing it.
He uses various pseudonyms depending on what. If he's making a horror movie, it's Jim Wynorski. If he's making an action movie, it's Jay Andrews. If he's making a softcore movie, it's H.R. Blueberry.
Anything about H.R. Blueberry.
There's a documentary about his process, and they filmed this like terrible softcore like witch movie, and like they film it in like 20 minutes or something. It's pretty funny.
His publicist sucks ass. He needs to make his name.
Is that Sorceress?
RPG.
It may be. I'm not sure.
He did direct Sorceress.
I'm pretty sure Linda Blair is in that movie.
She is. Linda Blair is in that movie. Julie Strain.
Linda Blair is in that movie, folks. In various states of undress. She's all grown up.
Papatopoulos is the name of that documentary. If anybody's interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2009.
There was a really good documentary came out years ago. I don't know if it's even available now, called Some Nudity Required, which was about not about Jim Wynorski, but they talked a lot to Jim Wynorski in it, and like Fred Olin Ray, and they talked to Roger Corman, and it was about the early 90s when Roger Corman was really pumping out these kinds of super sleazy movies to video and to late night Skinamax. And so
I have two sleazy ones. Can I mention them?
Sure.
All right, Murder Party is fucking hilarious. It's lesser known, but I think it's on Netflix now. That movie is really funny. And then thank you to Bruce in our Chuck Norris episode, but Silent Rage. And watch it if you can. It's funny.
I actually got exposed to Silent Rage through Riff Tracks. I'd heard of it before, but there's a very funny riff tracks for Silent Rage. That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen the movie is that, and you're like, it's on Prime, and I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. And he's like, I'm Chuck Norris, I'm gonna fuck you again.
Yeah.
I've actually got one more. It's not not really sleazy, but it's just freaking hilarious. It's The Pit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It's about a little boy who finds a hole in the ground full of trolologs that he proceeds to feed everybody in the neighborhood who's mean to him too.
Wait, is that the review you did when you're like, where he's like, go long, and he throws the football and the guy falls in?
Yep. It's an enormous hole in the ground, and the kid's playing football with the guy, and he's like, go long, and the guy's just running, and he doesn't even see this enormous hole in front of him, and he just runs right into it. There's another scene where he pushes an old woman in a wheelchair into the pit.
I was thinking that happened. Yeah, that's funny.
Also, the kids.
Is this still? I have to see this movie. This sounds amazing.
You can still buy it. This is a Kino Lorber Blu-ray. It's still available. You can buy it. Okay. His teddy bear is like possessed or something. Its eyes glow. The teddy bear talks to him, but it's in his own voice, and it's freaky stuff, man. Freaky stuff. It's hilarious. Freaking hilarious. It is a little bit sleazy because I mean the kid's got like a fascination with his babysitter, and you know he has some like at one point she's bathing him. He's like 15 years old, and this babysitter is giving him a bath.
Is this directed by Victor Salva?
I'm sure it's at the top of Victor Salva's list this Halloween. But I love it. It's hilarious. It's good fun.
It is. You ought to throw into your list for them people while you're on your massacres. It's a little more cheesy than sleazy. I know you know, but I'm sure you got it on Blu-ray. The good old-fashioned microwave massacre.
Yeah, I saw somebody mention that in the chat a while back. Yeah, Microwave Massacre would be a fun one to add to the list.
What's the deal about that? Frosty the Snowman or something? I don't know. Somebody said the guy who's in the movie did the voice or something for Frosty in one of the cartoons, maybe?
I don't remember. He was some kind of stand-up comic, as I recall. I don't know. I forget his name, but he was some kind of stand-up comic.
You must be talking about Microwave Massacre.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he was Frosty the Snowman.
Frosty.
And
Jackie Vernon. Yep. Yep.
That was a pretty funny movie. I got that. I was stupid. This is before I started actually buying my arrows on Amazon. I paid the retail price of $109.99 at FYE to get it. Not that much, but you know,
what?
Does FYE even exist anymore?
Yeah, dude. Funnily enough, I have a sick ass FYE. They got all kinds. Dude, they have NECAs. They'll have the what you call it, the 6 scale NECA Friday the 13th Part 4 Jasons. They'll have all this stuff, but
oh wow,
it's expensive. I mean,
yeah.
Well, yeah, 110 for a fucking arrow. Jesus Christ, I have to take out a mortgage. Jesus.
Now I get them all online, but I mean, that was when I first. I'd stop in FYE. I'd get lucky every now and again, and they had that. And my wife was like, "You want to get this because it's Arrow?" And I didn't even know Arrow was doing USA stuff yet. But I was never really in the loop with home releases and stuff, so I got it, and I was like $40, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, just for one movie. But after that, I started getting everything on Amazon. So, but yeah, I thought Microwave Massacre was pretty funny. So. I still got this movie. I'm sure Piz has seen it. I got it because I was just beefing up the Arrow collection. I think it's called Wolf Guy or something, and I was warned not to watch it, but I don't know if it's even a horror movie. Is that the right name of the movie? Wolf Guy, I think.
Oh,
it's like a.
It's with Sonny Chiba. It's called Wolf Guy.
Is it a horror movie? Is it just bad? Is it?
I don't remember that much about it. It's not like a werewolf movie. He somehow. I can't remember very much about it, to be honest. It's not a werewolf movie. He doesn't turn into a werewolf or anything that I recall. He has some wolfish type abilities, but I mean, it's not. It's just more sort of a really weird movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good candidate for a good concept, bad acquisition.
And I tell you what, Piz, when it comes to Arrow, I noticed they'll put out really lesser known movies, for me anyway, lesser known. And that was one I had picked up, and I picked up a few others. And one I was pleased with, didn't know anything about it, was it had the gentleman from I met him from Nightmare 2, Robert Russler. I think it's called Vampire. I think it might have just been Vamp. And I really effing liked Vamp. I thought it was awesome.
I almost put Vamp on my list, as a matter of fact. It's I really like it too.
Is that Grace Jones?
Grace Jones, yeah.
That bitch is crazy, man. But yeah, I loved Vamp. I thought Vamp was awesome. I was really happy and surprised with it.
Yeah,
that was the movie that got Dolph Lundgren recognized, not because he was in the movie, but because he was Grace Jones' girlfriend at the time, boyfriend at the time, girlfriend. Nowadays, it doesn't matter. But anyway, he was on set, and they're like, "Holy shit, look at this guy! Get him in the movies."
Yeah, man. But I was really surprised. I just a stab in the dark. I saw Robert Russler, and I met him at a convention, and he was real nice to me. And I said, I'm gonna give old boy a chance. And I watched it. I was like, man, this was awesome. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I met him a couple of years ago at a convention, and I said, man, you always play the coolest characters who die. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? You know?
Yeah, he lasted a little bit. No, wait, did he die? And he turned into a vampire.
He turned into a vampire.
Yeah, and I remember he was funny at the end. He said some kind of line, but yeah, I liked that. But then
he said something about going to night school. It's like, I'll just go to night school or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, Vamp is really good. That's another one. It's kind of, nobody really mentions it or talks about it. I almost put it on the list, but
yeah, man, kick-ass movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good movie. Well, let's go back around. Mike, was there any movies on your list that we didn't talk about, or ones that you want to mention?
Well, you guys are talking about technology and interfering with horror flicks. There was one a couple of years ago that I thought incorporated technology pretty well, and that was Unfriended. I don't know how popular, how mainstream it is, or how well known it is, but out of the slew of those type of movies, I thought that one was pretty decent. Anyway,
no, I agree. I agree. I liked it.
And I think Conjuring 2 is probably really mainstream, but I really, really enjoyed that movie, so I would have to recommend that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Witch from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those weird movies where I didn't feel like I was enjoying it as I watched it in the theater, but I still think about it, and it's 2.5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be something there. Now, I've only seen it once, and I still remember it.
Yeah.
So if it stuck with me like that, then there has to be something there that's good. And then one from 97, Event Horizon. I've always really, really liked that movie.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
It's a good sci-fi horror flick. I don't know why people don't like it, but I like it. It's decent.
Have you seen oh gosh, what was it called? It's kind of like a unofficial sequel to that movie. God, what was it called? It's got Dennis Quaid in it. Daggone it. What was that movie called? Can something with a C. But it was like produced by the same people that did Event Horizon. I think Paul W.S. Anderson produced it too. Pandorum, that's it. Yeah, Pandorum. I don't know, what was I thinking with a C? Pandorum, yeah. Pandorum, yeah.
That was good too.
I've heard it's supposed to be pretty good. I've not seen it.
I didn't like it as well as Event Horizon, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll throw out one Jay told me about, and I checked it out on Netflix. I don't think it's on there anymore. It might be, but The Taking of Deborah Logan or something. Is that the one where?
I saw that.
That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
And then this one's older and more well known, but Henry: Portrait of a Serial Killer is fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's really good too.
Amen.
Yep. Very good.
But,
yeah. The Taking of Deborah Logan is really freaking good. Love that movie.
Dude, the end of that movie, what she does to that guy, yeah.
My anaconda don't want none.
Jay messages me. He's like, "That was pretty gnarly, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, it fucking was."
Did y'all enjoy Creep? Maybe not the second one so much, but did y'all like the first Creep?
I did like the first Creep a lot.
Yeah, I liked it.
I did like the first.
The second one was just bad story. Like they could have come up with something a little bit better. Just seemed shitty to me.
Yeah.
I started it. I got through probably half an hour of it, and something came up, and I had to stop it, and I just never went back to it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it probably wasn't worth getting you going back to watch it. It just seemed forced. Oh, it did good. Let's make another one, which is the way of horror movies 9 times out of 10 anyway, it seems like. But,
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the
There's
same time, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a good British film called Creep, same title, from like the earlier 2000s. It's really good.
Oh, in the subway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Going off of what Jay's saying, Death Watch is fucking amazing too. Really good movie.
I hadn't seen that.
Soldiers in World War One in the trenches.
Was there any more on your list, Lauren?
Well, I'm just going to mention I'm a huge Ivan Zaccone fan, who's a younger Italian director who, if there's more money in the Italian industry, probably would be on our list with people like Argento and Fulci. But his work is really, it's out there. You can get it. It's cheap to find, mostly DVDs. Wrath of the Crows, Color the Dark, The Shunned House. He does a lot of Lovecraft adaptations. He just did a web series based on Herbert West Reanimator, which is very different from the Reanimator films you're probably familiar with. I think it's way more creative. It manages to put the Cthulhu mythos into the West stories. He has a visual style that's just absolutely amazing for someone who's working with zero money. Also, I've mentioned it to you before, Piz, but The House with Laughing Windows from '76. It's, in my opinion, the best giallo ever made. It reminds me a lot of Deep Red in its setup, but it is a very different movie than that. And at its scariest points, it blows anything that Argento ever did out of the water.
And my entire list could have been Italian horror films. I mean, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, the tone of those and the feeling you get watching them, I think really work well with Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Was there any more on your list, Eric?
Yeah, there was one I initially missed. I thought of it while we were talking about some other stuff. A movie I really dug when it came out, Girl House. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah.
That's I forget how that one got on my radar, but like I remember thinking that was a pretty effective movie, and it was also one of just interesting because it's sort of like the villain. It's rare in like one of those slasher movies where you necessarily feel bad for the villain, but it had kind of an interesting quality where I kind of felt bad for this sort of bullied villain.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that like I excuse kind of the terrible things he does, but
it
I thought it was an effective movie.
It's set up like it like films these sorority girls in their house, right? Like there's cameras everywhere. Like I don't know, it's like a porn type thing. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like a chat roulette type thing.
Yeah.
And so like the star of it is like a stripper with a heart of gold kind of a thing. I can't remember the actress's name, but if you ever saw American Reunion, like the fourth American, because there's like a million American Pie movies, but like the fourth one that matters, like that had like the original cast and they all came back, like she was in that movie and like completely naked. And here in Girl House, oddly enough, she's naked in parts, but a little bit more clothed than she was even in that American Pie movie. But she's super good. Like I'm surprised she's not in more stuff.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought that was a good movie, and that might be a good like horror thing to check out. There were some other things that like I was really trying to figure out like if there were any good '90s horror movies, and I sort of struggle because there's things I like, but I think they're divisive. Like I really dig like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know there's some people who don't like that movie, but I don't know. I think it's an effective movie. Especially the first one. I think the second one's kind of goofy, but like the first one, I think is pretty solid. And then another one, like Arachnophobia. For some reason, I got to thinking about like John Goodman, and I just really dug that movie. Spiders creep the hell out of me, so that's another thing that helps.
Hey, Bruce, can I mention one that came out late '90s? I think it might have been early 2000s. That was really good that no one ever talks about anymore.
Yeah.
Valentine. I love that movie.
I know that movie. I don't. It's all
David Boreanaz, right?
I have
and Denise Richards.
I have a soft spot for that movie because we actually went to watch that movie in the theater with a couple of buddies. The theater was completely empty. So one of my buddies was like, "Hey, let's go get beers." So we went out to the car and we got beers and snuck them into the theater, and we sat in the theater alone, drinking and watching Valentine. So I mean, it's got a soft spot in my heart for that just alone.
That is a masterpiece compared to "I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer," which I bought that for Big Lots for $3. That was the biggest waste of $3 ever.
I've not
never.
seen that.
It's got
I've still not seen that one.
Rastafari and Jack Black. Come on, it's worth
it. You can buy it for a quarter. Just
no. That's the third one, Jay. The second one.
I still know what you did last summer. Rastafari and Jack Black. That movie's actually okay, but the one they're talking about, I never even bothered to see because I figured
like drugs, man. Drug-free America. Not even once. Just say no.
Yeah.
Nope.
The only other thing I had a couple other things on here, which I don't know if you'd consider them too mainstream or not, but like I put the original My Bloody Valentine and even the reboot. I just, it seemed to me like those are fun Halloween movies that you could kind of get into. And then I mentioned it earlier, like The Burning. The Burning is another movie that I definitely credit you guys with getting me into. I think that's like, I'm not sure how many people have even seen that movie, or at least like new audiences have seen The Burning. So I definitely would recommend people checking it out. Because if you like Friday the 13th, like you like that style of slasher 80s movie, The Burning's real solid. That's a good Halloween movie to watch.
Yeah, I left a lot of those movies off my list just because we have talked about them quite a bit. Happy Birthday to Me, My Bloody Valentine, Prom Night, Terror Train. I mean, those are all. Yeah. I think with our audience, they might be mainstream, but not with the general public. So
that's a good point.
It works.
Yeah,
I group those all into big franchises, and then anything Tom Savini touched, Maniac, all that shit.
Mm-hmm. I had another thing on here, but this definitely falls into mainstream, but I almost think it doesn't count. Similar to how I mentioned Halloween 3 earlier, I wanted to say Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Even though it's part of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, it kind of exists in this like other it's like the real world. And I'm just not sure, again, our audience is maybe the wrong group of people. I'm sure everybody, most of the people who watched us have seen it, but I just think generally speaking, that movie gets forgotten a lot in the context of the Nightmare franchise. And I really dig it. Like, I like it better than, a lot of sort of the mainline sequels.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Welcome to prime time.
I agree. There were a couple. There was one I actually looked for in my collection. I couldn't find it. Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Somebody mentioned it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's got a great atmosphere. It's a television movie, but it's got a great atmosphere. It would be great for watching on Halloween night, I think. Let's see.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Lauren.
There was a great point in the late 70s that extended to about 84 where ABC was producing some really top-notch horror on a regular basis. When you actually check it out, what they were airing, things like Dark Night of the Scarecrow or Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, these are films that were more iconic than things that were coming out in theaters, and they were beaming into people's houses for free. And unfortunately, a lot of them have rights issues still, so that the original music aren't on the releases when they do come out, and they're abbreviated versions. So, I mean, I hope someday that could all be worked out, but television movies are usually rights nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah. When I actually got to meet Larry Drake years and years ago, and he was like surrounded by Dr. Giggles stuff, what I mean, signing Dr. Giggles stuff. People talking about Dr. Giggles, and when I met him, I was like, you're great in Dr. Giggles, but I mean, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, I loved that movie. And he just like, oh, nobody ever talks about that movie. You've seen that, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. He was like, you know what I mean? He was like, nobody ever talks about that movie.
I can't believe. So, I would thought they would be talking about Darkman or something, not Dr. Giggles. Wow.
Well, it was Darkman too. But I mean, it was a lot of Dr. Giggles. You know what I mean? Seemed like he had a lot of Dr. Giggles stuff on his table, and people talking to him about Dr. Giggles, and like one girl was like, "Will you giggle for me?"
Oh God.
We mentioned Italian stuff. Cemetery Man, I think, is an awesome movie. The visuals in that film are just fantastic. It's a love story, but it's a zombie movie. It's super gory. It's very dreamlike, and just really love that movie. Love that movie. And
Factory on that.
yeah, exactly. Where is Scream Factory on that one? And the last one I'll mention is House of the Devil. I think that'd be a great one for Halloween.
Because I think you should watch that back to back with Innkeepers. Both of those are really good.
I'm surprised no one's mentioned that yet.
I looked at House of the Devil as a possibility to be on my list, but it just fell short for me. I didn't care for it as much.
It's too mainstream, bro.
No, I didn't feel like the payoff was worth the wait.
There's so many movies that try to capture that 80s look and feel, and I thought that one did it pretty effortlessly. Like, it didn't go out of its way. It didn't it didn't go all Stranger Things. But it I don't know, it had that look and feel, I thought. And it was a slow burn, but I thought it was very atmospheric, and I dug it. Let's see what people are talking about in the chat as far as their picks. When a Stranger Calls, Jerpin mentions that one.
Oh, yeah.
The remake, of course.
What about When a Stranger Calls Back?
Red Band Cast throws out Urban Legend. If we're talking about 90s horror, he's going to throw out Urban Legend.
You can throw it out, all right.
Spring, Jacob McCullum. I have seen Spring. Pretty good flick. I dug it. Murder Party. Somebody mentions Murder Party, so they're on board with you about Murder Party.
I know what's up.
Stage Fright had a Jacob McCullum mentioned Stage Fright, another Michael Soavi film. Let's see, what else have we got here? A girl walks home alone at night. I had that one on my list for a long time. I just never got around to watching it. I Saw the Devil. Rocky Voorhees mentions I Saw the Devil. That's a good one. Not really a horror movie, but a horrific movie. I liked it though. I liked
doing
it.
A remake, I think. American remake.
They are doing an American remake, of course. Yeah. Movie Man 95 mentions The Stepfather 1 and 2. Not bad.
The
Terry
remake
O'Quinn,
is the worst. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I just said Terry O'Quinn. Love him.
Yeah, and all those original movies are fucking amazing. 3 or 4, however many they fucking did. The remake is my most hated horror remake of all time for horror. I fucking hate that movie so much. The remake of The Stepfather. People were like getting shocked in the theater, and it was a PG-13 shit fest. I was like, I fucking paid $10 to see this shit. I was like, this is so bad. It was such a fucking pile of steaming dog shit. I almost raged out of the theater. It was that fucking terrible.
I missed Cole is Gay. Cole is Gay was watching tonight. He says,
hi, Cole's Gay. How's it going, dude? What's up?
He says, have a great show
wait.
tonight. Wish you all the best and happy Halloween. Same to you, man. Same to you. Or woman, whoever you are. I have no idea.
Happy holidays, LGBT.
Yeah, happy Canadian Thanksgiving, Cole is Gay.
Yep. I love Cronenberg.
Somebody mentions Poltergeist 2.
That's a good choice. I actually prefer it over the original.
Yeah, that old guy was creepy in 2.
Yeah. I almost put that on my list too.
Take the last 15 minutes off. It's better than the original, but.
Hey, Piz, you remember? Well, it's on my mind. Remember a movie from the '90s called Dolly Dearest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that about a week ago. I think with another 50 or 60 grand in a budget, it could have been, okay, but it wasn't bad. But it's definitely a low budget, and I think that was the mama from Pet Sematary.
Yeah, Denise Crosby.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. The animatronics looked okay. That was a mean looking little doll, I thought that was okay.
I've seen it, but it's been a long time. But I have seen it.
I watched that the other night too.
It's not horrible, you know. It just needs could have used a little bit more money, you know, but definitely a response to Chucky, I would imagine. Not what was it?
Trilogy of Terror. Have you seen that?
See what?
Trilogy of Terror.
Yeah. I got a replica of that little sucker at the house.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Let's see. Where was I at here? Big Ideas 3 says if Rambo Raff was here, he would have mentioned Graveyard Shift.
I almost had that on my list.
Montgomery Jackson says Brad Dourif was terrifyingly despicable in Mississippi Burning. His performance was so real, it's hard for me to watch.
Yeah. It's good to see Gene Hackman slap him around.
Jerpin, Lost Boys and Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet would be a good. I actually thought about Silver Bullet. I passed by it on the shelf, and I was like,
Rambo Raff approves of those picks.
The Dead Zone. PlayStation 9 mentions the Dead Zone. Red Band Cast says City of the Living Dead. That would be a good one for Halloween night. That one's very, very atmospheric, very creepy. That would be.
If you jizz to The Walking Dead, watch Zombie, aka Zombie 2. That's Orc's recommendation of the night for Halloween.
Well, Orc, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an Orc's Corner. Yep. Do you have anything for us? Okay, I'm gonna it's your choice. You can either do an Orc's Corner or let's see, what was Orc's Pro Tip of the Week? Which would you prefer?
An Orc's Corner with a Pro Tip of the Week. Get on my level, you fucking pleb. Okay. Orc's Corner. Fuck movies and TV shows. It's fucking boring as shit anyway. There's some great fucking horror games you need to play. Outlast 2. Fucking amazing. Until Dawn. Yeah, good stuff. Call of Duty's coming out. Big meme with a big dream. What else is there? All the Evil Dead games that are old school on PS1 and PS2. Pretty good. Good stuff. Resident Evil plays all of those games. And pro tip of the week. GameStop is a pile of shit and never buy Apple products because they're even fucking worse. That's probably the best pro tip I can give.
Okay. That was an Orc's Corner and an Orc's Pro Tip of the Week brought to you by Valium. When you just need to calm down.
Yep.
Bradley Taylor says Prom Nights 1 through 4. I actually thought about mentioning Prom Night 2.
I don't think I've seen past part 2. Are they worth it?
I've seen them.
The third film's fun.
Yeah,
too long, but it's fun.
I don't even remember the fourth film. Was there a Prom Night 4?
Yeah, it's a straight slasher film. It's Prom Night 4: Deliver Us from Evil.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. Max, we've got people requesting wise words. Do you have any wise words for us this week?
I'm dreadfully unprepared for that. We have Orc back. Why the hell do you need me?
Yeah,
right? I mean,
well, sometimes people just need guidance. You know, they need some wisdom. You know what I mean?
Here's some guidance from me that Mike would say. Don't be a fucking pussy. How about that? There you go.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Mike's great. One day I'm gonna palm the top of his bald head there and just shake him on the fucking head. And then he'll punch me in the face because he's way taller than me and he's probably a shit ton stronger. So yeah, that's a convention moment we got to look forward to.
There you go.
Sausage Factory will be at Horror Hellfest 59. Fucking, I don't know, Shitsville, fucking Wyoming.
Red Band Cast says he literally may die without Mike's wise words.
Okay, wise words, don't die.
just stay alive.
Nothing's worth dying over, man. Nothing's worth dying.
What about a
some wise words
spotlight?
Oh, good. Do you guys have anything Any other anything else to say about Halloween recommendations, or do you guys? What are your guys' specific Halloween plans this year? Do you guys have anything specifically planned? Parties, marathons, gonna hand out candy laced with hallucinogens or apples with razor blades in them, anything like that?
Yeah, all of it.
It's gonna be a
Oh,
good
here's
Halloween.
an orc pro. If you live in a place where you get a shit ton of kids that come to your door to get candy, go to the dollar store. That actually everything costs $1, not it's over $1, and buy all the fucking candy they have. That's Orc's pro tip.
Don't
I'm
buy
glad
that
that
cheap shit. Kids want chocolate.
yeah.
Peanut
I'm
butter
glad
cups.
that the neighborhood I moved into is a really good Halloween neighborhood. The past few places we had lived, like nobody trick or treated, nobody did anything, and it really bummed me out. But I was just really happy last year when like all these kids were out. I was dealing with trick or treaters for a while. I just really like Halloween, and so that I was happy about that. So I think we're going to take the kids out trick or treating this year. We'll probably settle in for. I usually turn the whole month into like a thing. Halloween night, I can never again with the kids, I can never pack that much into like a day or a night anymore. It's always like maybe I could watch one thing and then I gotta go to bed. So I usually try and mainline the Halloween movies, Friday the 13th, some other things that are scary. That's kind of why I checked out the 2016 Blair Witch from a little while ago. Just I enjoy it. Like Mike was saying, like this is definitely my favorite season, my favorite holiday. I really enjoy Halloween.
Mm-hmm. I miss trick or treaters. I miss having trick or treaters, but the thing around here though, it's moving less and less from going door to door and more to like going to a parking lot and doing trunk or treat.
Oh God, I hate that shit.
That bums me out.
Lazy bastard.
And that just sucks.
Thanks a lot, pedophiles. God damn.
Yeah.
Well, now they have laws in some states where if you're over 12, you can get in trouble for trick or treating.
I saw that. There's like a place in Virginia, like they'll fine you.
Yeah.
Like I think that's ridiculous.
It's like punishable by, up to some time in jail.
They really have a lot of time on their hands, don't they? Good God. That's what they're focusing on? Come on.
Well, let me see that. What, you're 13 and you got a bag full of candy? Come on, you're going to jail.
Let me see your ID. What? You don't have one? You're fucking 12?
Corn or Coors Light.
So it'd be like Will Smith. I'm 12. Bullshit. You're at least 30.
Oh God.
That's stupid.
Sad. Very sad. Yeah. It's very sad. I don't know. Yeah, trunk or treat, and then there's churches around here. They do like a what do they call it? It's like an alternate Halloween where they
fall festival, like
I forget what they call it around here, but it's kind of like it's an alternate Halloween where they dress up as like biblical characters.
Oh yes,
and they give out candy in the church, or so.
Thankfully, they've moved away from that around my area a good bit. We're actually doing trick or treating again. Thankfully,
in Missouri, the churches hosted the trunk or treat, but it wasn't like really religious themed. It was just like they used the parking lot of the church for a trunk or treat.
In general, I don't think it's a good move to take candy from priests.
Well, it wasn't a Catholic church, so I think they were.
But yeah, it's I think some churches do that around here too, but it seems like the trunk or treat is just like you get a bunch of parents together and we park at an empty parking lot and we just do trunk or treat. You know what I mean?
There was this one really cool neighborhood we used to go to in Missouri where there was this one guy that always he would grill hot dogs and give them out for free.
Oh.
Anybody that wanted one. It was like his neighborhood that really got into it, and it was really cool to see that because it's dying off, unfortunately. Nobody wants to leave the house anymore. I mean, if you could trick or treat with your phone, it'd probably be very popular.
Yeah.
That's what people give big ups to people with Christmas lights, and they're cool to drive around and look at, during like November and December. But people who spend a shit ton of money on like decking out their house for like Halloween, they got like a zombies like running after you. There's like a guy rising up in a grave and all kinds of shit. I really like seeing those houses.
Well, and what they'll do too is they'll schedule trick or treating around here from like you know, before it even gets dark. So trick or treating is over and done before it's even dark.
That's stupid.
Yep.
It's I just remember being a kid and like really enjoying trick or treating, and just the neighborhood where I grew up, there were like crowds of kids. Like I remember there were kids on your side of the street, the kids going on the other side of the street, going across the houses. There was a dude on like the street behind my house that used to go all out. Every year he did something different, and it was always like a really scary front yard, and you always had to look out because he might be like lurking around, like, you know, one of the mannequins or something. Like I just used to really dig that, and I just don't. Again, even though there's trick or treating in the neighborhood where I live now, you don't see that as much anymore, and that kills me. That's just such a great part of. It was a great part of childhood, I think.
Yeah, same here. I mean, where I grew up, it was the streets were full of people. It was, you know, yeah, and then it got less and less and less and less and less.
Yeah, I tell y'all, I was young. I think I was 14 after Katrina hit, and when I left New Orleans. But man, when I was little, it was so insane. I remember my neighbor, he had won the lottery. He won the Louisiana lottery. He got a couple million, and he was a big horror fan. And he would have tape around his whole house, and he would have life-size figures. He had a gigantic custom Bates Motel sign on his balcony in front of the house. And it spread like wildfire. It got so big that the cops had to cut off the subdivision I lived in.
Oh man!
When I was little, maybe one of you guys will know this band if you're old school metal fans. When I was really little, my uncle used to walk me to Violet Street, which was behind mine, and this metal band called Soylent Green would play in the front.
Hell yeah!
And now hold on, this was back when Rambo was still singing for the band before he died. This may have been the first singer they had. I was really little, but it was the most badass thing in the world. Soylent Green would play. It might have been the singer lived there. That was his parents' house, and they would play in the front yard, and it was just the coolest thing in the world. And now I live in the Bible Belt, where you talk about churches doing this stuff. We got churches around here that just like teach kids like Halloween is evil and stuff. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Where I live, it's nothing. And the only trick or treaters I get is when the Cadillacs pull up and a bunch of the kids come out the car, run up to my door. Last year, my wife, we just moved into our house. City comes to the door with the candy, and she tries to give kids one piece each. That door opens up, and I just see hands come in, and they grab it at the bowl. My wife's holding the bowl, like, And now it's sporadic, but I don't know, dude. But really, it's not about Halloween night for me. It's about the whole month. I'm burnt out on Halloween night. I don't even want to talk about Michael Myers on Halloween night. You know what I mean? It's fun. The whole month is fun. When Spirit Halloween opens up, that's Halloween for me.
Yeah.
By October 31st, I'm done. I'm burnt out.
Yeah,
and I never watch Halloween on Halloween night because I watch it on AMC. I don't have cable anymore, but man, I burn myself out on it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fun. The process is fun. But usually on Halloween night, I just do my thing. I don't like to be around people too much because I'm just like that. I'm that old mean guy who listens to the band before it gets popular, and it's just like I've liked Halloween before you guys ever did.
Yeah.
I just need to do my thing.
Well, for me, I mean, there were a number of years when there were a number of adult years where I didn't really, I don't know. I wasn't overly excited about Halloween, and then one year I just decided to dress up the house, and I dressed up and Jeremy dressed up, and we handed out candy, and that like relit the fire in me. And then like every year for many years after that, I used to get that like at the end of as soon as September would hit, I would get excited for Halloween. And we'd do up the house. We'd get a ton of candy. We'd always dress up. I remember one year I was Jason, and the thing I loved the best was when parents would have to drag the kicking and screaming, terrified kids up to the door because, we looked so good to get the candy. Like the parent is laughing while the kid is kicking and screaming because they're scared of Jeremy and I dressed up holding out candy and stuff. Then there was one year we'd finished trick-or-treating. I'd went in the house. I think I was Jason that year, and I peeled all this crap off of me, and I was burning up. And a guy stopped at the house and was like, "Where's Jason? Can we get our picture with Jason?" And I was like, "Well, damn it." and I put this sweaty crap back on and went out just so he could take pictures with him and his kids as Jason.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Franken-Piz. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was digging. I was hoping you were going to keep doing it every video.
See, had you known.
What's up, people? Franken-Piz here. Today, I want to talk to you guys about it.
Say, had you known what was going to happen, you could have charged him $150 for the photo op, man.
Sure, yeah. Jeez.
Are you doing the Big Papa Pop again this year? I'd
No,
like to see that.
that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. That was a good one. I look at those pictures with I think I sustained some brain damage from the hair dye. That was I think that messed me up, man. That messed me up.
If you need candy, holler if you hear me.
Peaks on peaks, brother.
Yeah, I went to Boo at the Zoo at the Knoxville Zoo that year, dressed up as Scott Steiner. And I didn't think anybody would know, you know what I mean? Scott Steiner, you know what I mean? I hadn't been there for 2 seconds and people were going, Big Papa Pump, you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And so, it's Freakzilla, the big freak. What's up, freak? You know what I mean? And I was just like, hey, I thought nobody would know.
Piz, do you know that guy has the audacity to say he's never done a steroid in his life?
Oh, come on.
I swear. Dude, I read an interview on YouTube, shoot interview. He was talking about he was doing steroids. That guy is the definition of steroids.
He's
steroids.
There's a picture of him next to steroids in the dictionary.
Yeah, I'm serious. Go look into it. This sucker has the audacity to say he's never touched a steroid.
No, he's
The Rock says the same thing. So.
Just like Mr. Livestrong himself, Lance Armstrong. I always knew that faggot was doping. Oh wait, look, he was. Oh, then he was an inspiration to so many people. He's a fucking cheater. Fuck
Well,
that
he
guy.
been on trying to apologize.
Well, yeah. Well, Belichick still cheats too, so fuck them both.
I really wasn't thinking.
Yeah. Live Strong. I had a bracelet that said "Die Hard," and I love that movie too. And the film. Die Hard. So it'd be like "Live Strong," and I'd be like "Die Hard."
Well, guys, why don't we go ahead and call tonight? I think we've said it all. We've recommended some great movies to people to watch on Halloween this year. We've had a lot of people recommend some pretty good movies in the chat as well, and it's been a good premiere for season 7. We got things off on the right foot, and just want to hope everybody out there has a great Halloween this year, a very happy, safe Halloween, and we will return next week. Should we tell them what we're going to do next week, Orc?
Should I spoil it? Wait, hold the thought. Give me 15 seconds. All right.
I wish you would, so I'll know.
I don't know what I don't.
I was having computer problems.
Dennis, thanks for having me on, man. It was fun. I had a blast.
We're going next week.
Hold it up there, Orc.
Yep.
There we go, guys. Next week, live Halloween producer's cut commentary.
In case you didn't have enough Paul Rudd in your life.
I thought that Harvey Weinstein.
You never have enough Paul Rudd in your life. So Halloween, the producer's cut, live commentary next week on the Sausage Factory YouTube channel. So big thanks to you guys for tuning in tonight. Thanks for all the great comments. And thanks to my panel here for joining me. Thank you, Christian, for joining us. I'm sure hopefully it'll be the first of many appearances.
I had a blast. I really did. It was a
Right
pleasure.
on, man. Right on. And Lauren, thank you for joining us too. Hopefully it'll be the first of many more appearances for you as well.
Thanks. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so until next week, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday live right here on the Sausage Factory YouTube channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our Halloween, the producer's cut live commentary. Until then, you guys take care. Peace.